Hello, welcome to the stream, everybody. It's me, LLoyd. Welcome, Josh, for getting first, and OGP Funga teamed. Our enemies will fall. I'm not hearing it, so I was trying to re-trigger it, but I can't. Can I get it to uh, try that again? Let's try it. No, I want to hear it. Chat, are you hearing it? Hmm. We can fix this. Oh no. OGB Fang redeemed, our enemies will fall. Unlike Thorfinn, I have many enemies. No, you don't. No, you don't. Let's see. Can I do it here? Alright, I did it. I did it. Our enemies will fall, yes. But no, you have no enemies. We just... Is it just gonna keep looping? um, we just finished season 2 of Vinland Saga, so my brain is in a very zen place. Uh, Maybe not zen, but in a very thoughtful, mindful, intentional place. I assure you, I in fact do. I'm gonna make you rewatch all those episodes again if you think you have enemies. Oh my goodness. How's everybody? Happy Wednesday. I wasn't feeling very well for 90% of today, so um, we're gonna be playing a very chill game called Open Roads with an S. It seems to be a little bit of a mystery game. I must be on like a mystery kick. So that is what we're up to. Let's go ahead. Let me bring it over so you can see it. Maybe. What is it? There we go. Perfect. I just hit start game. Okay, so we're looking at a photograph. Flip over or look closer. I am gonna move my little VTuber model over because it's right on top of instructions that I think y'all want to see. Boop. Yeah, I'll hang out on this side today. Look at this photograph. That's right. That's exactly right. With purple nail polish, I'm getting the vibes. There's packing boxes. All right, let's see what's up. Me, mom, grandma Helen. Grandma's 80th. Okay, so we're the youngest person in the photo. Back over. So that is us. What was the grandma's name? Grandma Helen. Okay. I just like. Oh, I have to read it. Oh, gotcha. It's fine. Look closer. Is that Bigfoot in the background? No, I'm supposed to focus on the Lord. Alright, there's a necklace. We got some candles. I think I got what I need. Mom wants me to pack up my room to get ready for the move next week. It's taken a while, but I'm pretty close. Just a few things left before I can cross it off my to-do list. Look at this room. Who has this few items? Like this few, like this little. Oh, that's a nice rack. That's a good rack. Who has this little in their room? Like I admit I'm not good at not having a lot of stuff, but like movies and shows and games, everyone's got like such organized, like very little shit. Very little shit. Oh, look how old that computer is. Okay, focus. Let's see. Tess, is that us? Are we Tess? I want this chair. That looks comfy, but it looks really like it'd be really hard to get out of. All night movie marathon. Rialdi Theater, 2002. Alright, we packed that. There's a power strip. Okay. Paintbrush. It is certainly a paintbrush. It's very dirty. Look at those bristles. Do I just grab everything? What's this? Is this Dad? When Dad came back and visited. Look how faded that text is. Oh. Oh, that's awkward. Oh, that's rough. I'm trying to like download everything that I'm seeing here. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Look at this TV. I remember I used to have a TV like this. We're gonna leave the DVD player? Okay. Pick up DVD covers. Video Galaxy. Clueless. Alicia Silverstone. A rich and glamorous high school student tries to transform a new pupil into the most popular girls' school, but fate has other plans. Staff pick. Clue. Tim Curry. 1985. I actually loved this movie. Six strangers are invited to a mysterious mansion for dinner, but when their host turns up dead, anyone and everyone becomes a suspect. That was such a good movie. Let's see. Can I... Oh, it's just put it back. I can't take them with me. I wasn't sure if reading them would do something. Okay, well, I guess we're not taking those with us. Pick up a eraser. Oh, that's cute. Is there only so many things we can pack? Is that what this is? Hey, Tess. Are we doing movie night at your place? Yes, yes, we are. Wow, I remember notes in, like, high school looking like this. What movies are you bringing from work? It is comedy double feature night. I'll give you one clue as to which movies they're going to be. What is it? I already gave it to you. Tess, don't do this to me. You have your clue. Aw, that's cute. Is there a bag? No. So I can't take these? We can't take the movies? Fine. Open trash can. Pick up clipped up article. Oh. Dr. Med. Oh, this is gonna be flashbacks to what printing out web pages look like. I'm also noticing that the game window's really zoomed in. That was, remember Firework we just finished streaming? Um, I remember that had to be zoomed in a little bit to actually see it. There we go. This might look a little better. Okay, back. What are we at? 3 Dementia Tips from a Teenage Grandson by Henry Wood. When a beloved grandparent begins to experience dementia, it can be really hard. I've learned a lot since my own grandmother started showing signs. I hope these tips can help you too. So far, we don't know anyone by the name of Henry, so it's not like anyone in our family wrote this that we know of. One, it's more than just memory loss. Dementia can bring on behavior changes, like becoming more stubborn or irritable, even if they were never like that before. Just remember that it's not their real personality coming through, and do your best to take it in stride. Be adaptable. You'll quickly learn which questions a grandparent has trouble answering. Learn to change the subject from things that are difficult or upsetting. If you say something wrong, don't worry, take it as a learning experience. 3. Look on the bright side. I thought that said something about the Bible, and I was like, wait, where's this going? But no, look on the bright side. When they can't remember a name or event, don't correct them. Just act like anybody might forget that kind of thing. Stay positive. You can't bring the memory back, but you can make them feel okay about where they are. And don't forget, not everything needs to be communicated with words. Sometimes a simple hug can go a very long way. Aww. Aww. Can I flip this over? No. Let's see. 2003 was when this was printed out. Okay. Why would I pick up the cookie bag? I guess. Butter kisses when only the best will do. Holy shit. I remember this packaging. Does this brand still exist? I mean, I'm sure it's a knockoff. It's not actually Grandma Nancy, but this looks so familiar. That is so funny. Alright, no tips or tricks on this box. At least they ate all of them. I can bring the memory back. No, Josh, you can't cure dementia. No, you can't. I'm just rummaging. Judy's potato chips. Sea Monster Spice. Wait, I want to try that. What the fuck is that flavor? Beware the Kraken? Few things scare a seasoned sailor, but one creature strikes fear into the hearts of all, the Kraken. Our sea monster spiced potato chips are inspired by this mythical beast with a sweet and smoky flavor that packs a big kick. Beware the Kraken. When Judy made her first batch of sea salty potato chips back in 1974, it only took one taste to know they'd be a hit. Each batch of kettle-cooked chips is made with the finest ingredients, fresh potatoes, rich canola oil, and real sea salt. That's the reason nothing beats Judy's. That's so cute. A wild wormer appears. Oh, hey, that actually looks like a little bit like one of my luggage sets right now. I fell in love with this, and like I'm looking over at it, and it looks very similar. And it's like a 4 or 5 piece set, and it's not like a huge luggage set, but it has a bunch that are like similar sizes, but they do like nest in each other when I put them away. I got it at like this like little like church thrift store for like a really reasonable, like ridiculously reasonable. I think it was like $3 for the whole thing. But actually, was there anything else? I want to. Oh, different water paper. Yes. Okay. Look closer. Here I am thinking I figured it out, but this actually just looks like a tissue with a coffee ring on it. We will find all the mysteries in this trash can. We will, we will. I think that was it. Wilmer escaped. Get rigged. Do we need... Oh, what's this at the end of the bed? Oh, it's just a... Pick up pen from work? Oh, we work at the movie place. Yeah. Hold up. Oh, video. I thought that said undies. And I was like, what? Video Galaxy. Yes. Alright, pack up that pen. You never know when you need pens. Oh, what's this? Hip Hippo. That's a TikTok account that makes all the little cute little rhymes, right? With the rapping hippo. Someone back me up on this. The Dribbo Hippo? Dr. Waffle. Yes. yes. That's exactly right. That's awesome. And Dribbo. Alright, he's packed up. Let's get the Mr. Bun. That's a good bunny. Is there a name on the tag? Golden? Interesting. Hey, bunny, we'll pack you up. Is this a radio? Okay, we'll let that play. A geode? This is sick. Yeah, we're taking that shit. Can I take the plant? We're just leaving the plant? Well, that's a little rude. This, like, seems allowed. We're just gonna turn that off. A birthday card. Okay. Oh, this is pretty. May you enjoy all the blessings of your coming year. So proud of you, Grandma. Aww. Alright, I'll take that. I'm like sniffing out all the goodies. Nothing else sticking out from the bed? Okay. Another birthday card. I forgot it. This is... I need to get this as stationery. I very seriously need this as stationery. Oop, I just packed it. I didn't even read it. Fuck. Oh, shit. Well, I guess we'll never know. Oh, no. Wait, can I... Wait. No. We'll never know what that said. Fuck. Oh, well. It's fine. Everything's fine. Probably wasn't that important anyways.
Ah, Nevada. Home to all manner of folksy cryptids and cool dads.
Her random voice acting actually terrified the shit out of me. Okay. Matchbooks? Are we smoking? What's happening here? Neptune Casino and Lounge. Actually, I used to know like people who would collect like retro matchbooks. Jackpot Gyms. Eldorado Blackjack. So it's a lot of casinos. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I'll take these tacks, I guess. What's this? Pick up tabloid. I marry Bigfoot. She's great. Bigfoot's a lady? Aliens are here and they want your favorite recipes. Sure, buddy. A secret location of long lost bootlegger gold discovered. And only this man knows. Oh, sure. Let's see, what do we... I can't flip it or anything. There are many big feet. Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know. Thank you for educating me. Hunt for buried bootlegger treasure. We gotta use the read feature on this one. It was pretty baited. Local myth or fortune in hiding by Tess Divine. That's us, right? Tess? Yeah. Prohibition in America was meant to stop people across the country from drinking alcohol in bars and their homes, but what it achieved was creating a booming industry of illegal alcohol imports, especially from Canada. Much of this so-called bootlegging was done in dead of night, ferrying barrels of alcohol across the border and huge sums of cash back to Canada. But much of this money was stashed, hidden, buried stateside by bootleggers for safe passage until the coast was cleared to bring it home. And some of that illicit treasure must have been left behind when bootleggers were arrested by the authorities or killed and underworld dealings gone wrong. The locations of these abandoned caches of riches may be lost to time, but hints and clues remain. My father and I have spent many a summer vacation tracking down potential spots to search for this left-behind bootlegger gold. None yet successful, but these local legends and the history behind them is fascinating to learn more. Oh, that's actually a really well-written article. What do we got? Search spots. They've tried Birchville Township, Port Santia, Vance Creek Inland, Sugar Island, accessible by boat, Dyer's Bay State Park, problem, Hunter's Point, Copper Harbor, base of Lighthouse. I'm gonna forget all of that. Can we flip it over? Nope. Alright. Photo. The fun zone. Me and Dad, laser tag champions. That was like such a believable back of a... Like, that looked like a photo that someone would have written on. It just looked like a very real artifact. Hello, dancing! Welcome! Welcome, welcome! How are you? Liquid Gold, a history of the Canadian-American bootleg trade and the secret fortunes left behind. We just started this game. This character, Tess, her mom's telling her to pack up because they are moving. So we're just getting the pieces together for their story as we're packing. But welcome in. Let's see. Alright, let's go there. Here we go. A history of the Canadian-American bootleg trade and the secret fortunes. Can we open it? Oh, wow. Oh, she kept checking it out. Gary Cross, Marge Kingshore, Scott Barkstrom, Tess Devine. So we kept checking this out. We checked it out in 1992. Nope, in 2000. Then, like 6 or 7 months later, in May, we checked it out again. Checked it out the year after that. And then checked... Wow, why did we keep checking it out? This isn't a very big book. Please return to Learning Center. That's so cool. I guess we eventually stole this book. Pickup cup. Marnie's, the best in business. Can we throw it away? I can't. No, it just lives here. Look at that. The ring on that bookshelf. That poor bookshelf is wrecked. Pick up work shirt.
Guess
Video
I'll have
game.
to pack this after my next shift.
Uh oh. Okay. So I guess we're not moving far enough away that we don't need to use those clothes anymore. We're popping bubble wrap. Thank you for the welcome. I'm good. That's good. We're popping bubble wrap. Yeah. Hell yeah. Perfect. I am satiated. Alright, what to next? This desk is stressful, so I'm gonna go to the closet next. Okay, cool. Pick up a yearbook. Grummy says, stay in school, kids. Don't turn out to be like me. Oh, wow. Wow, that's that's quite the mascot that school's got there. Uh, Grenville High School, 2002. Can we open it? Francine was here. Hey, bestie, wanted to make sure you wouldn't miss this message. Now anybody else who signs this will know I'm your bestie, not them. Let's have a great summer this summer. Movie night Friday every night, Francine. Oh, this is making me like almost sad nostalgic. I'm the first to sign your crack, Jason. That is such a high school boy signature. Class of 2003. Next year we rule the school. See you next year. Have an awesome summer, Brooke. Extra, extra, read all about it. It was awesome working with you on the newspaper this year. See you. And the funny pages, Brian. That's cute. Let's see, any more pages? Will it let me flip it? Nope. Pack that away. Oh, wow, this wasn't a very long diversion. So I can hide in the closet if I wanted to. Interesting. Interesting. So I'm like really aware that they've actually like hid some items. Every now and then. Ooh, pick up friendship bracelet. Tess and Fran. Oh, this is a Tamagotchi.
Oh, right. I was supposed to feed you. Poor little guy.
iPet. Oh no. Alright, that's everything in that drawer, I think. I'm just gonna see it from a couple angles just in case they're hiding goodies. Nope. So it must have been recently her birthday. Happy birthday, Tressa. It's always so much fun to have you visit. I can't wait till next time. I'm so proud of you, your business, and the kind of woman you're becoming. All my love, on August. So is she an adult? She's proud of her business? Interesting. Interesting. That was weird. I must have been blocking it. Okay, that is everything on this set. Oh, the poster. Renee Magritte? A Legrand Famille, the large family. I don't know what that is. To-do list. Wash dishes, help tag things for estate sale, get movies from work, pack up rest of room. Close enough? Oh, so we can call it. No, no, no. We have everything at the desk to pack up. I don't want these candles. What the fuck? I know that there's some people that just throw things away, if they're like, if it's something that's easily replaceable, and that just feels so funny. That, I don't know, that feels weird. Mug for mom's work. Andromeda Theater, so the mom works at a theater. Got it. Dishwasher safe. Give me those erasers. Give. Let's see if they wrote on this one. Ah, unrealistic. Everyone who had erasers like this wrote on them. Knock knock. Hey, Sora, welcome in. Welcome, welcome. St. Jean Nail Lacquer. Hey! The horse is back. This looks like a nail polish brand that was like in the late 90s. Plane ticket? Where's she going?
Better leave these where Mom won't see them.
Oh, so it's somewhere that mom's not supposed to know about? Detroit? From Detroit to Reno? Oh, Jesus. What date is this for? This is for... Wow, they don't make this easy to read, do they? October 2003. I don't think this has happened yet in this game. So October 2003. Back read. I'm not reading all that. That's too much. For a sec, I thought this was Job Simulator. What is this? Going to Detroit? Maybe she's trying to become human. Oh my gosh. Detroit Become Human. I haven't played it, but I've seen, like, large swatches of the story, and I feel like I would feel things. But it does look like a really good game. This is Open Roads. Don't know much about it. It's a cute little short indie game This girl's just, we opened up with this girl packing up all her goodies, and we're kind of piecing together some sort of story from it. So if that's October, what else did we get a date from recently? I think we saw, oh, fuck. Wait, October, it's 2003 though. So if that's October 18th today, so we already did this? Why would we have to hide this from Mom if this has already happened? Yeah, date of issue. Oh, I can't fucking read. Okay. When is the trip then? If that was the date of issue? November. Okay, I figured it out. 14th of November. So this is pretty soon. So she's going there next month. Pardon me while I'm looking. I'm at work. No problem. So sorry. I actually really appreciate you popping in. I appreciate it. Good luck at work. I hope it doesn't suck too bad. Alright, got a newspaper. Never forget. Marking the anniversary of 9/11. Let's see. So that's 2 years after. I don't feel like reading this one. Well, I guess we should, right? It gives us some context. Did we write this actually? Who wrote this article? Preparing for homecoming, page 7. Go cheer on your basketball stars as the season starts. Movie reviews. Pirates of the Caribbean. Matrix Reloaded. Oh my gosh. The official newspaper of Greenville High School. Never forget 9/11. Our lives all changed on that fateful day 2 years ago. Greenville students shared their remembrances. Like all kids in America and across the world, the students of Greenville High's lives were changed forever on September 11th, 2001. Whether you heard the news from your parents that morning or saw the reports on TV, you're certain to remember where you were that fateful moment. In the last 2 years, the threat of terrorism has become part of our everyday lives, as have terms like weapons of mass destruction. From the moment that the planes hit the World Trade Center towers, we knew things would never be the same. Them including a snippet of this, a news article of this, so early in the game, I'm wondering what the connection is gonna be. Cause so far this doesn't fit with like anything that's like happened in the game. So I'm interested to see what's gonna happen. As American troops enter Iraq, the conversation has changed to one between people who demand we support our troops and those who argue that George W. Bush and Ronald Rumsfeld's reasons for war aren't justified. Was that our vice president at the time? I don't know that second guy. I don't know him. But today, as a day is a day to mourn those over 6,000 people whose lives were lost 2 years ago and appreciate the sacrifices of volunteers. Classic 9/11. Yeah, the one the most iconic U.S. Milestone in the early 2000s. Let's see. The new gym worth the wait. I love the new logo painted on the basketball court. Go Gremlins! I hate PE class. Kids can get in shape without a gym. Dang. That's fair. Alright, let us continue. And we're not gonna pack that, it looks like. Alright. Pick up nail polish. Seance. That's an awesome color, actually. Invoice. Web page design services. Publishing. Oh, that's actually really cool. So we make websites and publish them. Oh, that's actually really cool. So her company's Divine Design. Okay. Moving day is next weekend, so we have 1 week. Justice is a gold Palomino, Tennessee walking horse. I guess we're a horse girl. Great. Not that there's anything wrong with horses, but an early 2000s horse girl is definitely one of many early 2000s stereotypes. Let's see, a little watermelon eraser. More nail polish, can't have enough of that. Is that smoochers? Yo, chat, I don't know if any of you would remember this, but in like the late 90s, early 2000s, it was wicked popular to have chapsticks. There was this chapstick brand that looked a lot like this, and they had chapsticks for like every soda brand out there. So they had like a Sprite one, a Dr. Pepper one, like I think they did anyways, but this just reminded me of it. Pick up pamphlet. In loving memory. Oh, okay, so she did pass away. Oh, very recently. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's see. I can't flip it or anything, so I guess we'll just pack it. Bye bye, Grandma. Report card. Chemistry. Why is that highlighted? Great improvement. Um. Grade. Sits. Abs. Oh, how many absences? And how many tardies? I guess it's highlighted because it's the most impressive one? Or is it the most important for her future? But she has a web design company. Why would she need chemistry? Huh. Interesting. Web scribe. Okay, so it looks like just like a website, like, designer book. Pack up hair clips, yes. Something's sticking out underneath this drawer. Can I reach it? Oh no, that's just the leg. Never mind. I saw it and I was like, hold on. Nope, nothing there. Let's pack up the calendar. Fuck it. I think that's everything here we can pack up. I guess she wants to keep the computer out to work on her business. Is there anything we're missing? There was that one card that we just packed really early on without even reading it on accident. Alright, close enough. We did it. All done. All done. Can I put the board? I can't take this board with me? No, okay. Alright, let's go. Can't turn off the lights. Man, we're gonna waste electricity?
Tess,
Yeah?
come down to the basement. There's something I want to show you.
The basement?
That's the first time we've seen, like,
What is
the
it?
character animation.
Oh, it's nothing really. Remember, this?
That's so funny.
What is it?
It's of the dog we had growing up, Lady. Your Aunt August made it when she was a kid.
My god. And Aunt August isn't a rich and famous artist now?
Well, she is one of those things. Not a famous artist, though.
We've still got a little while before we actually move out, right? Like a week?
Yeah, about.
I wonder if the dialogue
This detail
changes.
was weird. Having all those people in the house, picking through Grandma's stuff. I'm
Aw.
glad it's over.
Yeah, me too.
Are you okay? Mom.
I just. We took care of your grandmother right up to the end, and.
And now they're selling the house out from under us. I know.
Oof.
Want to just. Take a minute and look around and see what's left? I haven't really gone through everything since the sale ended.
Yeah. Me neither. That sounds really nice. Just looking through what's still here. Aside from this hell picture.
I'm surprised no one bought that.
Amazing that no one bought it, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Just shocking.
So you're all packed up, right? Good to go?
Oh my god.
Just remember that it needs to be done by Wednesday so we can get everything out of here on time.
I know.
I'm wondering, when they say they sold the house from under them, I wonder if Grandma was like on, I get them confused. Medicaid? I'm not sure. There's something that, if your assets aren't legally set up correctly, if you get any government assistance, you know, for end-of-life care, and your assets aren't set up, everything goes to the government, which is very, very poop. But I'm wondering if that's what happened here. I feel like this is just gonna be really sad. We're locked in. We're ready. We're in for the ride. Most of Grandma Helen's stuff was sold off in the estate sale. I haven't really had a chance to look around. This is true. We did say that. Can I just steal stuff? Pick up brush? Why would I want this? Okay. Uh, pick up fire extinguisher? Am I supposed to find secrets? Tell me your secrets. Spartan brand fire extinguisher? Okay. What's this book? Dear Millie. Millie Calder?
Grandma's advice column was popular, wasn't it?
For a little while, yeah.
I felt really lucky that I got to ask her for advice face to face. I remember when we went to that one book signing when I was a little kid.
You remember that?
Yeah, I mean, people in the audience seemed so excited and
Aw.
nervous to get to ask her their questions right there in person. Sometimes when I'd ask Grandma for advice, she'd start off with, "Don't tell Millie," but I think she saved her special advice for me.
Well, she could have given some advice to herself and realized that taking out 3 mortgages on her house wasn't such a good idea.
Jesus Christ. Okay, we figured out what happened to the house. 3 of them? That's just kind of fucked. I don't know a ton about economics and shit, but that's kind of fucked up that they allowed 3 of them. And I can't take any of this? Okay. I guess we figured out why I'm bad at only having a few items. Laundry detergent spring set? Am I supposed to find secrets? Where are the secrets? Do I get the bleach too? No, okay. Okay. I'm like locked in. There's gonna be a secret somewhere. I want it. I want it so bad. No secrets in the back of that? Okay. I want that. That is so cute. I want that so much. Okay. Well, I guess that's everything over here. Oh, wait. What's over here? A little mallet. Okay. There's gotta be a secret. Ooh, what's this? Employee identification card. Keene County, Michigan, 1966. Leonard Lambros, property inspector.
Grandpa Leo was
An inspector for the county.
What's that mean?
He inspected things for the county.
Oh, great, Mom. Thanks.
Commercial buildings, mostly. When we were driving around town, he'd point out the ones he'd inspected. I remember he was very proud of inspecting the department store. You know, the big one on Old Main Street. Every foot of electrical, fire sprinklers, alarm system, everything. He'd say he was the only thing keeping half the buildings in town from burning down. Electrical fires are no joke.
Dang. Do you think there's gonna be an electrical fire? That would suck. Just a pen holder, okay. But anything on the bottom? Any secrets? No. It is 1010. Okay. Can't pick up a pencil. File box? Anything in there? No. What's this? Leo Lambros, 43 years, Orange Street, Greenville, Michigan, died 1968 at Alexandria Regional Hospital. He was a veteran of the Second World War, serving as a surveyor with the 173rd Field Artillery Battalion, scouting out enemy positions from the front lines. He later worked for Keene County as a building inspector. Surviving are his wife, Helen Lambros, and his daughters, Opal and August. Funeral arrangements under the direction of the Mountain Family Funeral Home, Vancouver, are complete. Was not expecting that. Alright, put that back. I guess we're just leaving memories here. I don't think the bank needs those, but okay, I guess they're not our memories. That's weird to me. Can I fuck with the fuses? Well, this might be useful later on. I don't need them now, though. Can I go outside? No, I can't. Okay. Up we go. Anything behind the door? Nope. A wild sunkern appears, good luck trainers. Aww.
I'm taller than you were.
Who's taller now?
You are. But I've still got time.
That's adorable. So is August? Oh, August is their aunt. And then Opal's the mom. Okay. It's interesting that Opal doesn't start having height measured until 14. So maybe they're a blended family, or maybe Opal's adopted? Maybe? Or Opal just couldn't stand still long enough to get her height measured. Aw, this is actually a really cute yard.
We did our best, but the results were... Ugh.
Glad I had you there to supervise my baking skills. Aw. And we're not gonna keep that. Is that not even an option to keep it? Yeah, fuck it. Okay, whatever. Whatever.
I've gotta take more pics with Francine this year. We're so cute. Maybe I should start carrying a camera around.
10202. Wedding
Who
invitation.
are these people? Mom's friends?
Dorothy Jean Haverman and Nathaniel Edgar Borges invited you to share in the tour of their wedding celebration on Saturday the 9th of June 2002 at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, it already happened. That's so funny. Does everybody have a miscellaneous wedding invitation on their fridge? Or is that just me? Coffee pot. What? Oh, shit. Oh, it's fine. Okay. Not for food consumption, a vinegar cleaner. We can pick up everything. And I feel like I don't think I'm gonna miss a lot per se, but it definitely feels like there is a risk. Cereal?
Tropically fun and tropically sweet. It's tropical hippos you gotta eat.
Yeah, that's just Triple Hippo. That's the guy. That's him. That's him right there. Bran Crunch, full of fiber. Oh yeah. Okay. And I guess that's everything in the kitchen.
No! Why isn't this in the fridge getting cold? Come on, Mom.
Man, she's just yelling at her mom for leaving a soda out. Okay. I'm locked in. I'm trying to find all the secrets. We're starting with the floor. Nothing there. Everyone really likes Marnie's. Ooh, what's that? Oh, it looks like so Grandpa, Grandma... Oh, and her aunt and her mom. Damn, Gramps was attractive. That's the second photo now where he's very chiseled.
Wow, was this taken right here? Cool. That's Grandpa?
Mm-hmm. Probably only a year before he died.
Oh, wow.
Of a heart attack?
Yeah, very sudden. But I guess that's how heart attacks are.
Oh. There's a big crack in it. Looks like it's been fixed.
Oh, what happened to this?
Oh, that? You know, I'm not sure.
You know, I'm not sure. Seems like there must be a story here. This isn't Grandma and Grandpa's wedding china. Just let it go.
Isn't this Grandma and Grandpa's wedding china?
Mm-hmm.
Was it broken like this ever since you can remember?
No. No, it broke when I was a kid.
Grandma must have been upset.
She wasn't happy, no. But I did my best to glue it back together.
You had to do
Aww.
it? Did you break it?
No. My father broke it. Listen, I don't want to talk about it. It was a long time ago.
Uh-oh. I am sensing bad things. Oh, goodness. How pushy do we want to be? I guess we'll...
If Grandpa broke it, why did you have to fix it?
My parents, they got into arguments sometimes. You know that.
Uh-huh.
So, sometimes... Well, one time, a plate got thrown against the wall by my father. That plate. And, well, no one else was putting it back together, so... I went ahead and did it. On the floor of the dining room here.
Jesus Christ, Mom.
I told you I didn't want to talk about it. Maybe you should listen to your mother sometimes.
Aww.
Sorry.
What, like, an emotionally intelligent, like, response. Aw. It seems that the mom characters has done some generational healing. Okay, a box cutter. Very fancy, very nice. Oh yeah, I was just, is there more that's cracked? No, just the one. Okay. Why can we pick up... Is there gonna be one of these that's different? Why can I pick them all up? Okay, anything... Oh. Pick up bucket. There's gonna be something in one of these buckets. I'm telling you right now. That's everything. Flippy flaps. I can pick up both flippy flaps? Oh no. As I said something, I think it's just the size. Jacket. Can't pick that up. So much like trash. Look at this duster. That is so funny. These are such artifacts that are in this game. It's awesome. Duster. Pack of cigarettes.
Ugh, Mom, please quit already.
Oof. Mellow taste.
Oh, how did this end up down here?
Huh. Must have been in a drawer of something that got sold.
This is from one of the first digs Dad and I went on.
It was kind of adorable how excited you both got about going on those digs.
I remember being so sure that we would actually find bootlegger gold. Or at least a clue about it.
Kind
Your
of digging,
dad.
kind of.
Well, at the very least, he certainly had a way of firing up your imagination. I'll give him that.
More accurately, looking for, what's the word? Looking for old boots from, like, Prohibition that got bootlegged and left behind. That's not archaeology. Yeah, I know. Leon's Creek, no dice. It's, I know it was just the mechanic for the first room to pack things, but it's stressing me out that we're finding all these personal items that, we can't pack. We're just putting them back. That feels weird. I don't like that. That stresses me out. Oh.
What? No one bought this masterpiece? I'm downright offended. I made this when I was, what, 4?
At Frankenmuth.
Yeah, at that pottery demonstration they did. They'd call little kids up from the audience and show them how to do it. I was so excited. I was jumping up and down, waving my hand because I knew that Grandma likes pots.
Oh,
She kept it up on this display shelf with all her other pieces all those years since you gave it to her. Oh, honey.
It's okay.
I'll hold on to it.
I think I'm gonna hold on to it. Grandma held on to it all this time. She wouldn't have wanted me to throw it away.
Thick mug acquired. African pottery? This is cool.
Wow. A few pieces of pottery that my mom collected from around the world are still here. I'm surprised they didn't all sell. I think this one is from South America, not sure which country. And this one's Japanese.
I've never even left the country. Why haven't we ever gone anywhere cool?
Niagara Falls isn't cool.
It isn't Japan.
Well, it's a lot easier to drive to Niagara Falls than Japan. Cheaper, too.
Opal's right.
But wouldn't it be fun? Me and you, an intercontinental mother-daughter adventure?
Maybe an intra-continental adventure.
I'm thinking of a certain place. Somewhere warm and southwestern. Somewhere where, say, my own father currently resides.
Listen, we've discussed this. We're not going to Nevada to visit Penn. It's not going to happen.
Well, what if I just went by myself?
By yourself? No way. It's a bad idea.
How come?
There's a bunch of reasons.
Like,
Like, I said so, and I'm your mother?
That was like the first time the mom has like fully like dodged conversation. Like I get that she's still her daughter, but I've got a feeling there's gotta be some communication with whatever's going on with the father figure. So we'll see how well that goes. It's so pretty. Anything inside? Nope. I thought I threw it on the ground for a second. It's a little worried. I don't know what I think I'm gonna find. But I've got some FOMO. Aww.
did Grandma start dressing like this after you moved out of the house?
Mm-hmm. After my father passed, my mother, well,
Turned into a hippie.
a bit of a free spirit, let's say.
Doesn't look like that rubbed off on August much.
I think it might have. To push her in the opposite direction.
Now, granted, it's only one plate, right? But if her grandfather was not a great person, it would make sense that after his passing, she would be able to like live more freely. Anything good in there? They fucking love letting me be able to pick up
Tess,
these
what
cups.
are you doing? Don't touch that.
Why not?
It's in the trash.
Yeah, and I'm just checking it out.
Well, stop.
Okay, fine.
Why is she yelling about the trash? Is there something else in there? Oh no, we can't touch the trash at all. That's weird. I mean, it makes sense, but that's weird. I don't know, we've just been picking through trash cans this whole game. Oh, we could pick up each of these pieces of pottery. I guess we'll just start. That's a nice one. I like this one.
Oh, good. Some of Grandma's pottery didn't get sold. I loved watching her at the potter's wheel when I was little. Had she been doing pottery her whole life?
Honestly, I think it's something else she picked up after my dad passed.
Like the advice column?
No, she was doing that since I was a kid.
Did Grandma... Was she ever with anyone else after Grandpa died?
Whoa, where did this come from?
Well, she just seems so vivacious. You'd think some man would be interested.
Yeah, no, not that I know of.
Yeah, it does seem to sound like she really came alive after he passed. These are pretty. What is that? A cone firing chart. Oh, that's cool. Alright, chat. It looks like an ad wants to play soon. So let's go ahead and take a really quick break, and we'll be back in like five minutes. Alrighty. Oh, vivacious is a fake word. You don't approve? It's not in the Josh dictionary? I feel like vivacious is one of those like SAT words that I would never choose to use, but I recognize the definition if I happen to stumble across it. Who uses that in a real sentence? Tell me right now. But yes, let's take a quick break and we'll be back and we'll complain about vivacious later. Time. I think the store has always been open. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. It has been. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. This is fine. Oh, hey. Oh, hey. Get out of here, guy. Scram. Go home.
Lloyd,
Ah,
you're being a goof.
fuck, I'm over encumbered.
Yeah, I'm full
How
of
are you
trees.
over encumbered in PvP? So
Well,
therefore you
we
can't
weren't in PvP.
you can't drop anything. So therefore you literally are going to be over encumbered the entire match.
I haven't accepted the queue yet. I can waddle over here and
That's
refine
why I
all
keep
of these
losing.
raw
That's why
hides
I'm
I just
fully.
bought.
Just throw them on the ground. Oh my
No.
god, you picked up a bunch.
Hey, that guy
And
was
you're
cool.
telling
Though.
me
Black and
I
red.
waste money.
Hey, you. A shrewd moneylender who has earned the ire of many. While many of his victims would like nothing more than to do him great harm, the murderous glint in his eye is enough to make them think twice. Nice chatting with you. So there's a hidden item. Let's actually just talk to him regularly. Oh, there, stranger. Ever find yourself a few leaves short of a tree? I'm your man. Get it? It's funny because the currency in this game is leaves, so it's actually pretty fucking good. It's hard to tell if the light sort of like filter that they have that has like its own like pulsing effect is happening, or if there's an anomaly, or if I'm just severely dehydrated. There is no way to tell.
Isn't that also sunny in Philadelphia? Didn't that one also age terribly?
I thought you put together Seinfeld into
Yeah.
It's Always Sunny. That's what my
Yeah, you
brain
said
heard.
two. You said two names.
No, I just said sunny
No,
in.
no.
I
No,
heard
that's all I
Seinfeld in
said.
Philadelphia.
I did not say that. I said
Apparently
sunny.
you did. If we both heard it.
2 out of 3 doofuses agree. Oh, oh. Painting anomaly in the bedroom. Okay, it might be a shadow one. I'm not sure. I'm very bad at knowing exact. Oh.
All right. I'm coming.
Hey. Woo. We
Let's
got an
see it.
applause redemption in chat. That's the timing on that one pops like I got an SOS flare off. Woo! This one's right there. Okay, so where the hole is where the hole is going to eventually be. So I just need to rotate them through. So if we want this one's not if the hole is down here, right? Clearly we do this, right? I did it. 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 Okay, I should give myself more credit. That was a lot faster than I thought I was gonna take.
Leave this to me.
Okay, so we're just gonna punch it. We're gonna punch the dragon torch instead of the in-world mechanic that would end it.
There's another way. What is it? Beat the fuck out of the monster.
Hey, what do I do?
That just hit him, cause you're gonna die.
Yeah, this is a DPS check because it targets one person at a time with the laser, and
Basically,
then
I'm just trying to keep those alive as long as I can. Because he can't do anything else besides hit you.
Yep.
Yep, I died.
He's
That's
targeting
fine.
me, but that's okay. We got it.
He has no health left.
Good shit. Nice.
Oh,
Oh,
I
I
didn't
got
get
it!
the thing.
I got
Fuck
it!
you.
Whoa. Oh my gosh. Only 110 XP. You absolute mad people. What the fuck? Do you really think you can change your fate? Oh, no. Alright, well, what's this one? It's your son's bad luck to be born into the Tian family. These are horrible lotto tickets. This is karma? Oh, no. Oh, my eyes! I've never seen it.
You're seeing eyes. You never use them.
This is true. If I am afraid of of wearing them out, so.
Of overwearing them out.
Yes.
What about underwearing them out?
Why are we bringing my underwear into this?
Because why not?
Wow,
Don't
Buffett.
wear any.
Wow.
You can move to my hometown, then you can focus on caring for our kid. Don't worry about money. My dad has asked someone to find me a job. I'll start earning money once I start the job. Mm-hmm. Oh no. And it doesn't matter because all of her props were used to decorate the house. No. No, my past is riddled with holes. No. Bonus, but it's just extra. It's just like gravy anyway, so
Maybe one day I'll just stand there
Gravy?
and practice playing.
anything that's like just extra, it's just better. I call it gravy. Like if it's just
yes,
like
a musical
works.
gravy.
like the cherry on top. For some reason my brain calls it gravy instead. I don't know where that came from.
It's an old term.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yes.
the gravy on the biscuits.
No. I don't think that's right. Ooh, kitchen, intruder, lock in. Alright, get out of here. Oh! Yes! Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, I'm taking off my glasses. Oh. 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 Me and my cat are fancy. Oh, look at Pickles.
Yeah,
Oh, look at Pickles.
I
Oh.
forgot you call it pickles. Or you can just fast travel out yourself and not give the stuff to anybody and just
No,
Oh,
that's
true.
me.
accept losing half
Oh,
of it.
what?
You walked into my sword. I was doing a full combo, and he just walks right into my sword. He's like, "Hey, that's me." And walks into my wood.
Oh.
my trees.
Oh.
Will that count? Will that hit him? Will that land on him?
Oh,
Let's
you
see.
have weird feathers. Oh,
Hell yeah.
I see.
Welcome back from the break, everybody. Thank you for hanging in there. Let's see. Ah, yes, we're in the pottery room. Alright, let's get back to it. It looks like a little beehive.
Is this some of the last pottery your grandmother made? Yep. After her fine motor skills started to go.
Aww.
It's still kind of beautiful. I miss her a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Aww. It's interesting that it lets me pick up everything. I got all the little pottery chisels. That's a cool one. It's a little, looks like a little fucking duck. Look at that.
What's this thingy? Maybe to smooth out the surface so there's no bumps?
Oh, swoop. They got the textures of clay on the, like, dried flecks of clay on the tools really well. Let's see. I think that's everything in this room. And I can't go out back. Okay. I think we have... Oh shit, there's an upstairs. Did we do upstairs yet? No, we didn't. We came straight from our bedroom.
Oh, hey. It's August.
Oh.
Ugh, exhausted. The state sale was a lot. But that's easy for you to say.
I don't think they get
I
along.
remember, and the answer is still no.
Ooh.
Well... The what? Oh, right. Right. Sorry, it hasn't exactly been at the front of my mind. Yeah, it's around here, somewhere. No, it's fine. Okay. Love you. Bye.
So, they still say good love you to each other.
Unbelievable.
What did she say?
Yeah, what does she
Nothing
want?
helpful.
Is she still not gonna help us with the house?
No. She was just calling to ask me to find some book of hers.
Any
Oof.
idea where it could be?
It must be upstairs somewhere, in your grandma's things. It has a red and black cover, white block lettering. I'll know it when I see it.
Okay,
Wow.
let's go.
On August call, Mom looking for some book that's important to her for some reason. Apparently, it's probably somewhere upstairs. I'm sure she's got her own kind of grief and kind of hurt to not be able to come help with the house, but that sucks. That's a nice portrait. Nice portrait painting. What a nice little neighborhood. You'd have to really like your neighbors, though, living somewhere like that. Maybe not like them, but at the very least, get along enough.
What's this?
Oh, it's a hook pole thing to pull down the hatch to the attic.
Could August's book be up in the attic? With Grandma's things?
Could be.
Alright. We can go up there, but... You go first.
I did not mean to beeline it to progression. I just locked in and ended up where we needed to go. Okay. Wow, they really cleaned out her room. I see something sticking out of this drawer. Oh, it's a playbill.
I am the very model of a modern major general. La 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 da 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 mineral.
I don't know that play at all. Pirates of Penzance? Oh, Opal? Oh, so our mother directs plays? That was pretty close. Oh, are you familiar with this one? That's so funny. I'm glad we had your expertise there, because that I did not recognize that even a little bit.
Hey, Ma! Actually,
You thought
maybe I
everyone
should
was?
just put this back.
Wait, what? Sorry to hear that Mom's doing worse. I've been thinking about her a lot lately. I know this is a sore spot, so it's the last time I'll bring it up. I really wish you'd let me help with Mom's medical bills. I get that you'd rather have me there in person to help, but I just can't get away from work long enough to make that happen. I'm sorry that money is the only thing I can provide right now, but that's just the situation we're in. If you're stressed about everything you have to do, you can always send Tess down here for a weekend again. I love having her around. Call me if there's anything new with Mom. Love, August. I'm gonna be honest. August, every, like, bit of communication we've seen from August has been, like, pretty reasonable. And I guess Opal is allowed to still have emotions about this, even though she has been pretty reasonable. Like she didn't just say, here's money. She was like, hey, I'm sorry. I understand that you would, like, really prefer me to be there. This is the only support I can give. Oh, the Hitmonchan appears. Good luck, trainers. Isle Royale National Park. Interesting. Can't open that drawer. I thought I could. Wait, before we... There's a weird noise. Before we go in that attic, I'm just gonna check a few other things. Oh, the little shower stool.
Guess we can get rid of these.
Hey, is that a acetaminophen? I know that. Let's see. Mouthwash, toilet paper, okay. More pills. So, and this one's Memantine. I don't know what that one is. Memantine. Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, well, actually, that's a really cool... I like that window, because it's, like, high enough that you have all your privacy, but it lets in a lot of natural light. That's nice. I like that. Alright. Oh, this must be the mom's room. Like, wait, where's the bed? Maybe it's not mom's room. That's a nice rug, though. I like that. I'm a sucker for a good rug. Oh, I want that painting. Oh, that's nice. Oh, I like that. I like that landscape a lot. Ooh. Ooh. Can I have this? I would like this. Thank you.
Oh, somebody bought Grandma's old writing desk?
And her typewriter. He said he was an advice columnist too, and wanted to use them for his writing. He said your grandmother was a real inspiration. He left a very nice note.
Aww.
And a lot of money?
Well, it was just an old desk.
But it had sentimental value.
For us, maybe.
And for him, obviously. Can I see the note?
Sure.
Stop shopping in Grandma's house. Opal, your mother has always been an inspiration, not just to me, but to an entire generation of writers and readers. I can't tell you how much peace she's brought me over the years. To be able to write where she did, well, I hope a little of her magic crosses over to me. Yours, Ben Gerber.
Well, okay. I guess it's alright that he got it.
Glad you approve.
That's funny. A farewell from Millie. Dear readers, it's been a delight, an honor, and a privilege to write to you over the years. Few people are lucky enough to say that they love their job, and I'm grateful to be one of them. I've learned so much from all of you, and I hope I might have taught you all a little something too. When I open your letters each week, I'm always struck by your passion, your drive to succeed and do better. We've talked about the worst of humanity, and much more of the best, and you all will be an inspiration to me for the rest of my days. Even as this column comes to a close, I hope you will still consider me a friend. I know I'll consider you one. Yours, Millie. Have you ever received advice from Millie? If you have a story of how Millie changed your life for the better, send a letter to Dear Millie. Aw, is no longer answering advice. Aw. I think I would be really good at an advice column. I would enjoy that.
I remember hiding in here with a flashlight to read my books when I was a little kid and we were visiting Grandma.
And a box of crayons, apparently.
We'd come to visit and I'd hunker down in here for hours. Some kind of game in my head, I guess. I'd be hiding in here, and I'd hear Grandma out there in her room, typing away or just reading in bed. I know she knew I was in there, but she'd always pretend not to know. And I'd pretend she had no idea I was hiding. I don't know why. I just liked the feeling of knowing she was out there.
I've only slipped away into the next room. Somewhere very near, just around the corner.
Aw.
The poem you read at Grandma's funeral.
Mm-hmm.
So they had like a whole family of creatives. We don't know what Aunt August is doing. It sounds like it's a little more lucrative. She might be a little richer. But the mom was a director for plays. Grandma was a writer. We're a webpage designer. That is so cool. Will this one open? Ooh. Okay. I think that's quite literally everything we can search down here. Alright, up into the attic. And that's every single room. Alright. Up we go.
Okay, come on up!
Damn, it's dusty. Now,
Attics are
where's
so
that
cool.
book?
What?
Okay, well, this is just creepy stuff. Why are these up here?
You'd rather they were downstairs?
Good point.
It's like... It kind of reminds me... It's not, but it reminds me of like those like Raggedy Ann and Andy dolls, but it's not. That's so funny. Okay, so these are all girls with very similar braids, but they do look a little different. They have slightly different features. Interesting. Why can't I pick up every goddamn bucket? Is one of these gonna be like a plot device bucket? What? I'm so suspicious of all of these buckets. What's the deal? What's the deal? I'll get to the bottom of these buckets. Felicity, swing into spring. What's in, what's out, what's not to be caught dead in. Marriage. Maybe mother didn't always know best. The new makeup. Ruth Harper takes you step by step. Sun, moon, rising. What's your sign? And how to make it work for you. Biting your tongue versus speaking your mind. That's so funny. Felicity sounds familiar, and for some reason I can't put my finger on it. A dog bowl? Did we have a dog? Okay, lady. Oh, that's a pretty bowl. The grandma probably made this. That's really nice. Guitar. Is there any notes on it? Any signatures? Nope, just guitar. Got all the strings.
What's under here?
Here, let me grab that. I'll put it up here to look through.
The artist's approach.
Yeah, there's a bunch of old stuff in here. But,
Mom?
hold on, it might still be here somewhere.
There's something...
Here it is. Maybe if your dad had read this, he wouldn't have stopped working at the video store.
Mom! What's in there?
Oh, that's a hidden compartment. Forget about August's book. We found a weird suitcase in a secret compartment in the attic. Did Grandma Helen hide it there? Why? The answers may lie within. That's such a creepy little spot. That is so funny. Ooh. Okay. Was this supposed to be like the 50s?
This is just some junk from the old summer house.
Your family had a summer house?
Well, it was more of a cottage, I guess. We spent the summers up there for a long time.
And you've never taken me to visit?
Well, I haven't been there since I was your age. We just stopped going one summer. The summer after my dad died. I think there were just too many memories there.
Oh my god.
What?
Aren't you seeing it?
Seeing what?
Right here! Behind them? That's a freshly covered hole.
Uh-huh.
It's obviously the location of the buried bootlegger gold.
In our backyard, you mean?
Indubitably.
Lady probably buried a bone there.
Dogs don't really do that. Only cartoon dogs do that.
Only cartoon dogs bury bones, but real-life bootleggers bury gold in people's backyards? In 1968?
It was a different time, Mother.
Sure.
Oh, how did I fucking miss that? Yeah, there's a whole ass hole in the back. Oh, pretty. Oh, those are her glasses.
Grandma's sunglasses? Vintage. Can I keep them?
You think they're your style?
Yeah.
Sure. Just be careful with them.
I'll
Aw.
guard them with my life.
Aww. Let's see. Recently, one of my daughters gave me a tremendous shock. She's married. Apparently, her college boo and her tie the knot without my knowledge. She claims that they wanted to skip the wedding to save up for a house, but I'm very hurt by her exclusion. She knows that I have dreamed of a big wedding for a long time. How can I convince her that a marriage founded in secrecy will never last? Miffed mother-in-law. Editor's note. Millie is a character. Pull it together. Wait, what? Wait, let me... Where is that asterisk going to? Oh, are they saying that these aren't real advice columns? Let me see. Let me read it this way, because with the way that it's formatted in the transcript, it's kind of hard. So the editor crossed the answer out and said no. The answer was, Dear Miffed, half the battle of being a parent is allowing your children to make their own mistakes. Only time will tell if the marriage will stick, and the only thing you can do is make the best of it. Consider the weight your daughter's under, keeping this under wraps. We all have our secrets, myself included, and to not be able to tell even our closest loved ones can feel absolutely suffocating. While it can be hard to see a child make such a foolish mistake, the best thing mother can do is bite her tongue. Yours, Millie. Too harsh rewrite. The first thing I thought of with like some of the way some of the stuff is lining up, and that he was a veteran of World War II, and I don't know, there's just some, if it's not just a case of him being like just like a classic domestic abuse situation, I'm wondering if there's some war secrets too. And why would Grandma Millie keep this in the hidden compartment? Did she realize she revealed too much of herself in some of these drafted answers? Let's see. Next question. My husband rekindled a relationship with his high school crush, a girl he hadn't seen since his Air Force days. They're both married, and he told me they're just friends. Against my better judgment, I supported it, and they started spending more and more time together. Well, I should have trusted my gut. Coming home early from grocery shopping, I caught them in the act. Now I'm at a loss. My friend says get divorced. My mother says to stay together for the children. What can I do? Hopeless in the heartland. Oof, especially for the time period that, that's, my heart goes out to her. Editor rejected this one. Dear Hopeless, nothing's harder than having a marriage fall apart before your eyes. Trust me, I know. He underlined it and crossed it out. The editor. Hard to say what's worse, the sense of betrayal or the realization you've been had. Divorce is a tricky subject, no doubt about it. I'll tell you one thing, though. There's always time to start anew. Abandonment and freedom are two sides of a coin. Yours, Millie. No newspaper will allow... What does that say? No newspaper will allow... you to argue for divorce, rewrite. Yeah, exactly. The time period. I don't agree with it, but the time period, that makes sense that they would complain about that. That is wild.
Did Grandma write these?
During the last summer, we visited the cottage.
Was she okay?
Looks like her editor didn't think she was. It was only a year after my father died. I
Oh,
think Millie was still figuring things out, too.
It must have been hard.
I'm sure it was. They'd been married 20 years?
I
wow.
meant for you.
Aw.
Oh, right. I mostly just tried not to think about it.
That doesn't seem very healthy.
It got me through.
Aw. A Nixon pin? Rocks. I like those. Homemade marbles. Imitation jawbreakers, a very abstract model. Homemade marbles?
Homemade marbles?
Ah, these little stones were from the stream near the summer house.
You painted them?
Me and August. The rocks from the stream were so smooth, but I forget why we painted them.
You were really that bored, huh?
There weren't many TV channels back then.
Tragic.
The little quips, the little like back and forth. I love the dialogue.
Cool van.
I did love that van. The engine died for good while we were visiting the summer home, and so I just turned it into my bedroom after that.
You slept in a broken down van?
Well, the summer house was small, and I always had to share a bedroom with August. When I realized I could have my own space just by sleeping out in the van, it was a no-brainer.
Did
That'd
you
be so
like
hot.
redo it to be like a bedroom inside?
Yeah. Your grandfather pulled the seats out for me, and I set up a little bed
Oh.
frame with a mattress and all sorts of posters and pillows and shelves and things like that.
Oh, that's cute.
Wow, that's actually cool. Could I do that? With our car?
No!
That car probably runs. Let's see. Custody by Greenville Police. Another burglary last night, and what state police are investigating as a series of crimes carried out by a single, organized group. Once again, there are no signs of forced entry, and nearly all of the valuable jewelry was taken, over $100,000 worth of merchandise. Local Girl Scouts take trip to beach. The Girl Scouts of Troop 317 of Jean County, along with their families, took a trip to the beach of Lake Dear Millie. Recently, a close personal friend of mine confided in me that she is having an affair on her husband. I love them both dearly, and I'm not sure if it's better to let the husband know or keep the wife secret. Situations like these are painful for everyone involved. There's never an easy out. Keep in mind that this is her secret to keep, and not yours. Keep your loyalties where they lie. So it's kind of like a... Whatever got published seems like a little more artsy, a little less discernible and specific. I can see the editor's hand in this. I know you've promised never to share your oatmeal. Someone asked for her oatmeal recipe.
Whoa. There was a crime spree?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, department stores and fancy clothing shops. Places kept getting robbed. The police couldn't figure out how the crooks were pulling it off. It went on for, well, I mean, it felt like months.
So what happened? Did they get caught?
Now that I don't remember.
Huh. Was that the grandfather? Helen Divine. We'll be together soon. I love you, and we're going to love our new life together, free and happy. The heck? Is that from the dad?
Well, whoever this guy was, it sure seems like he and Grandma had something pretty intense going on. Was Grandma Helen...
In some kind of secret relationship.
in some kind of secret relationship?
No! Not the Helen I knew.
Intrigue. Grandma, what were you up to?
Interesting. So, it was written out to Helen. He didn't put his name on it, though. Or she. I guess we can't assume. Whatever Grandma was up to, maybe we'll find out. So this was 1969. Okay, okay.
Grandma's diary?
Ooh.
Should we?
Oh, I don't think we should really.
Oh, Grandma wouldn't have cared. I'm dead.
They.
What
Good
difference
call,
does it make to
Josh.
me? I can hear her
Good call,
saying it now.
Josh. Grandma tried to run away with a non-binary baddie in 1969. You're quite right, you're quite right. I like it, I can picture it now. Let's see, 68. So this was a year before that postcard. A common occurrence. Yes, yes, yes. Aren't any help. They think they're being good neighbors, but if anyone should know where the path of good intentions leads, it's these church ladies. The children carry on best they can. Opal is caught up in her own teenage dramas as usual, almost as if it were any normal summer. August does worry me a bit. She's becoming caught more and more in her imagination. I wish I could help her, but there's so much I can't say. It is becoming a challenge. Keeping my correspondence with crossed out, concealed. It's only a matter of time till we're together again in person. But to hold it all inside, not tell a soul, it's almost too much. But he knows, and I know. Soon enough, the waiting will be over, and this will all be in the rear view. Oh. Forget about the past. Leo's dead. All that matters now is our future together. Oh my gosh. Oh no, that was written to her. I thought she was sending it. Oh my gosh. Can I like zoom in to see what that guy's name was? Nope, they made it illegible.
What is this? So, Grandma and this guy were definitely together before Grandpa died? And they were gonna run away together? You never heard about this?
No, this is
And what is this key to? Why is it hidden in here?
something at the summer home, I assume.
Okay, well, now we've gotta go check the old place out.
The plot thickens. Dun dun dun. Let's see. Yeah, I don't care about the bootlegger gold. I get Tess would be, but I'm not playing Tess. I'm playing this person who wants to know why Grandma was running
To
away with
find out
someone.
who this mystery man was. Don't you want to know?
I don't know, Tess. We still have so much to do around here.
Come on. It'll be fun. An adventure.
I still need to call Tina at the theater and finish cleaning out the fridge.
Come on. We never get to do stuff together. You spend all your time at the theater, and I spend all my time in school. When was the last time we were able to do something? To talk?
Aw.
Well,
You do want to know, don't you? I can see it, Mom. I can see it in your face.
God.
There's a reason why Opal doesn't want to go
A
there,
little
though.
change of scenery would be nice.
Ha, that's the spirit.
We could spare a weekend before we have to move for a little road trip, right? To tie up some loose ends.
Yeah.
Right.
And some of those little towns along the way are great for antiquing.
Yeah, sure.
I want Tess's
Alright.
jacket.
It's a deal. Let's hit the road and see what we find. I could really use a break from all this, even if it's just for a weekend. Pack your overnight bag.
Yes!
And bring your homework. I don't need you falling behind at school.
What about August's book?
Is that it
We
right
can
there?
FedEx it to her when we get back.
Okay.
She
A
does
road
not like her
trip.
sister.
This is gonna be great.
Hi, sick? A while before we get there, though. Oh, this is cool.
What highway are we on anyway?
Oh, this is the old two-lane north route from before there was a freeway. It used to be the main route north, but now it's pretty off the beaten path.
Aw.
It's the way we always took to get up to the summer place when I was growing up, though. So I wanted to take it again.
It's nice out here. Peaceful.
Mm-hmm. Used to be a lot more cars on the road, and little shops and towns along the way. But with all the traffic going up the freeway now, everything kind of died off.
Terrence Auto Parts. Oh wow. Chat, who remembers printing out directions for road trips? 110 miles? 1 hour and 58 minutes? Holy shit. I did not realize how far away this was. Oh, the pot. Why did we bring this? I guess all of our stuff we brought with us is so everything I have in my pockets now is going to exist in this, because these are all the things that I picked up already. Registration certificate. Whose name is this in? Oh, it's the mom's car. Okay. Interesting. I could text Dad. I could text Francine. Let's text Francine. Hey, Frankie. Guess where I am. Where? In the car with my mom. Yeah, and? Why would you text me about that? Because we're on a road trip. Was this planned? Not until this morning, LOL. Where are you going? We found this weird stuff in my grandma's attic, and now we're going to my family's old summer house. You have a summer house now? I know. My mom never told me about it before. No one's been there for like 30 years. I'm hoping it's either cool or haunted. Why not both? You know what? You're right. I'll text you tonight if we find anything cool. Or haunted. Did you tell your mom about the plane ticket? Nope. Tess. Whoops. You have to. Okay, have a safe trip, nerd. Interesting. Okay. Oh, quick and stop. What did we get? Gum, chips, cherry fizz, soda. $3.71 for all that? Oh my gosh. It's not 2003 anymore, chat. $3.71? That wouldn't have been enough to get one of those drinks now. If you're lucky, it'd be one of those drinks. With tax. Oh my gosh. I feel so old. Didn't used to hurt to exist outside of your house.
What are you doing back there? Are you gonna do your homework?
No. Reading in the car makes me carsick.
You were just
Then
texting.
what are you messing with back there?
I don't know.
So stop it. It's not safe.
That is so funny. There's just this random shit that the mom will yell at us over. Like, picking around in the trash can. Apparently that's illegal. Can't have fun now.
When did you say the last time you were at this summer house was?
Oh, when I was, I guess, 15. Your age?
I'm 16.
I meant about your age.
So a long time ago, so a super long time ago.
So, a long time ago. Wow. No one's been there since, like, the 19th century.
Ha ha.
What was the Industrial Revolution like?
Dang.
Tess, I wouldn't know.
Did you ever meet Galileo?
Jesus, how old do you think I am?
I mean, I'm just estimating. It's a rough estimate. It's a rough estimate.
I'll say. It was the 60s, I think, summer of 68. 1968.
So, like, 35 years ago?
And you say you're bad at math.
What was it like?
The summer house?
And the Dark Ages, but yeah, the summer house.
Dang.
I just always really liked it there. It was an escape.
From what?
Everything, I guess. School, town, same old. Every day just felt like it was hours when we were there.
Why did we never go? Yeah.
Sounds really nice. So why did we never go?
I don't know. It was somewhere I always associated with being a kid. Yeah, we stopped going as a family when I was your age, and then I went off to college and then married your father.
Did Dad even know about this place? I can't imagine Dad passing up a free summer home where he could just hang out and do nothing all day.
So you're saying your father is lazy?
He's a man of leisure.
Is that what that phrase means?
What else would it mean? He likes relaxing.
He sure does. It's probably why I never mentioned it to him. Because I knew he would never have put in the work to actually fix it up so we could use it.
It needed a lot of work?
Well, not last I saw it, but being unoccupied for decades out there in the middle of nowhere, it's gotta be falling apart.
Oof.
Yeah, you're right. That sucks. I was hoping maybe we could fix it up.
And use it as a vacation home? We're about to be kicked out of our actual home. What would we need a vacation home for?
To live in?
Yeah,
To
right.
live in? Tess, I'm sorry, you couldn't live there, and not year-round.
Why not?
Well, it doesn't have central heat, or even really insulation. It's a summer home, not a winter home.
Okay.
Well, it's better than not having a home at all, isn't it?
Okay, we're not gonna be homeless.
But we're getting kicked out of Grandma Helen's house. We don't have anywhere else to live.
We'll find a place.
What kind of place?
I don't know yet.
Oh
We're gonna
my
be living in
gosh.
this car, aren't we?
No,
Just like when you lived in that van.
we can find an apartment.
How are you even going to pay for an apartment?
The theater company,
I thought you said it was underwater.
well,
Oof.
it's not doing great, but
Mom,
Chill, Tess.
what?
Tess, chill. You guys will figure it out together. Stop grilling her. Holy shit. Like, I see why the aunt keeps offering money, but I can also see how Opal would want nothing to do with that, because she might feel abandoned by her. But they definitely are in a pickle. When are you gonna give up on the theater? I would never say that. That's fucked.
we need money.
Believe me, Tess, I know.
If Dad was still here,
Excuse me?
he could help. Pay for things.
If your father and I were still together, we wouldn't be in this situation in the first place.
Well, have you asked Dad if he could send back some money? To help?
Absolutely not. He doesn't have the money.
But Dad moved out west for work. What? Don't laugh at me.
Uh-oh.
I'm not. It's just work. Sure.
It wasn't for work?
Aw.
Then what was it then? I think I deserve to know.
If he hasn't told you his side of the story, I'm not gonna step in and take that responsibility for him, like I always did. Your
Dang.
father left me in a hell of a situation. We made all these decisions together. Do you not understand that? We made decisions that depended on us both, sticking around. I didn't plan for any of this. You idealize your father, you know that? And I just don't really want to talk about it right now.
Fine. Let's never talk about it. Let's never talk about anything important.
Classic 16-year-old kid. I'm pretty sure I heard my phone buzz from the glove compartment. Alright, let's check it out. Hey, Tessa Bear, just thinking of you. Easy to forget about weekends here. Every day is a work day for me. Is he lying about working? That would be kind of fucked. Hey, Dad, what's up? Not much at work right now, but good to hear from you. That's the wrong here, but I'm gonna ignore that. How's work going? Oh, was that a scroll wheel? I could have picked an option. Oh well. Good, making money. Would you be able to send some money back to help Mom? No, I'm not gonna ask that. Never mind, I'll ask you another time. Never mind, forget it. I know you're busy, I'll ask another time. Well, okay. Did you tell your mom you bought the tickets? Not yet. Me and Mom are actually on a road trip right now. We're investigating a family mystery and going to her old summer house. Can you believe it? Wow, you need to tell her, kiddo. Or else I will, and you know she would freak, lol. Okay, I promise I will ASAP. I know you will. Love you. Actually have to get back to it now. Treat your mom nice, okay? He moved out there for his other family. That's gotta be it. It's gotta be. Because if it wasn't for work, then what the fuck was it for? Love you or talk to you later. I'm gonna say talk to you later.
Are you sending text messages to someone?
Yes.
Yes? Yes, I am.
To who?
It's to whom, Mother? It was Dad.
Just getting his side of the story, huh?
No comment.
It's all right. Having a common enemy can help bring people together.
You're not my enemy. Or Dad's.
Sometimes it feels that way.
Well, it's not supposed to.
What's funny is the dialogue is just right that I think the mom is like really like rational and really reasonable. This looks just like the Little Misfortune house. I don't know if anyone's
Mom!
played Little Misfortune, but it looks like it.
Are you okay?
I just didn't think it would still be here.
Mom, well, it is. And it looks to be surprisingly well preserved.
Well, it's not just like I remember it. A little more
Rundown?
weathered than the last time I was here. But I guess I am too.
Wanna start looking around?
Yeah.
This isn't exactly what I pictured when Mom said they had a summer home, but it's still pretty cool in a retro way. There's probably lots of cool stuff inside from when Mom was a teen. Alright, let's figure out about the mystery man. I tried to shift run. For no one being here, I'm shocked that
Did you
this
do
looks
these
like a
with Grandma?
garden.
No, August did. I never had a green thumb. She loved helping my mother in the garden.
Really?
Why do you say it like that?
I don't know. Can you picture August getting her hands dirty out in the garden now?
I guess not. But if my mother was ever out in the garden, she was out there with her, helping the best she could. I remember one year, maybe when she was 6, she started crying so hard when it came time to pick the berries and vegetables. But the plants worked so hard growing them. You can't just take them.
Aww.
Aww.
Well, now I feel bad for the plants.
She was a sensitive kid.
So am I. So what happened? To August. She doesn't seem so sensitive now.
Oh, life happened, I guess.
Ooh. The mom's voice reminds me of somebody, and I keep picturing like someone from like Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm actually shocked that they don't have squatters. The fact that this has been a building that's been more or less abandoned. What flashed just now? Did you see that?
It's out there. Somewhere. That buried bootlegger gold.
Uh-huh. Bigfoot, too, I hear.
Do you think he found the gold already?
What makes you so sure Bigfoot's a he?
Oh, I love it. Equal opportunity cryptids. Very forward thinking.
It's 2003, Tess. Anyone can be a Bigfoot.
Okay. Yeah, 2003. The most progressive time. Honestly. But I'm surprised there's no squatters. I feel like it wouldn't take long for anyone to realize that no one's visiting this house. What is this? Is it just a junk pile? Video games. Hey, bro, welcome in. Welcome in, welcome in. Everyone, if you haven't already, go follow my brother. Go follow his Twitch account. He's so close to getting affiliate. I'm homesick as a sad puddle. Oh no. Yeah, go take care of him. Oh, this was the van that the mom turned into her bedroom when she was a teenager. That's funny. Steve, why ill? What happened? What happened? What happened to Steve? Boots.
Is this a trailer home?
It's a mobile home.
Mm-hmm.
What did I just say?
They're not the same thing. A trailer home hooks up to the back of a truck and can be towed around. You can take it from place to place. A mobile home arrives on a trailer, like towed by a big truck.
Go on.
A mobile home doesn't have wheels.
Not
Well,
permanently.
why didn't you just say that?
Well, I will admit it took me a moment to untangle the nuances.
Yeah. Not enough tea and water and fruits and vegetables. That's what happened. Aw. Oh, she's gonna have a lot of emotions in here. Oh, okay. They just left it like this? What the heck? Like, I get they never visited after a while, but it definitely... And those jackets? 1966, the family garden. 75 cents. New Columbia. Fucking rollerblades.
You used to
This guy
roller
got
skate?
Mm-hmm. At the drive-in on Main Street.
At the... Wait, why would you be roller skating at... Mom, were you a roller skating waitress at a drive-in restaurant?
When we were here for the summer, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It seems silly now. I mean, it was silly, but I was glad to have the distraction.
From what?
Well, it was the first time we'd come back for the summer since my father died.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, I was probably kind of depressed. It was good to be up and moving around and not just sulking.
And bringing people burgers? On roller skates? In a little outfit?
Oh yeah, the whole nine.
This guy got
there's a photo
scurvy.
of this somewhere.
Steve, do you have scurvy?
I don't know. Maybe?
Well, I've got a new objective.
Alright, so new goal is to find a photo. Dancing says yes. Alright, so we gotta find a photo of the mum working at the roller, as a roller waitress. Maureen Hansen, her fabulous TV debut. What's this? Opal, I'm having so much fun. It's a total blast out here, really. You have to come. I know you go out to your little summer house every year with your family, but I really think you should consider working at the park with me next year. It's all people our age running the rides and concessions and games. Plus, when you park closer, you can ride the... What the fuck does that say? Plus, when the park closes, you can ride the rides as much as you want, as long as whoever's running it isn't a jerk. Promise you'll come with me next summer. How are things out in the sticks? Are you still working at the drive-in? If you don't have any luck with guys out there, wait until you come out here. The guys are unreal. I've seen stuff that would make your hair curl. Fuck. Say hi to your family from me. I'm going to write you every week, just like last year, so don't forget to write back. Your friend who's having lots of fun and wants you here desperately. I love, like, this stationery is so retro.
Mom, you know what it sounds like? You had a Francine.
I guess I did.
I've never heard of Lori before. Are you still in touch with her?
It was short for Dolores. Maybe you've heard me talk about my old friend Dolores?
No, I don't think so.
We haven't spoken in years. One of those friends you have in high school, and then college happens, and you know.
No, she doesn't. It hasn't happened yet. Aww.
That's never gonna happen with me and Francine. We'll still be friends when I'm as old as you. A very long time from now. Like, so long from now.
Wait, you're not implying I'm old?
No, of course not. But God, it's gonna be a long time from now.
Alright, chat, another ad wants to play. Let's have another 5-minute break, okay? See you soon. Enjoy the new clip compilation. Time. I think the store has always been open. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. It has been. Cool. Cool. This is fine. Oh, hey. Oh, hey. Get out of here, guy. Scram. Go home.
Lloyd,
Ah.
you're being a goof.
Fuck, I'm over encumbered.
Yeah, I'm full
How
of
are you
trees.
over encumbered in PvP? So
Well,
therefore you
we
can't
weren't in PvP.
you can't drop anything. So therefore you literally are gonna be over encumbered the entire match.
I haven't accepted the queue yet. I can waddle over here and
That's
refine
why we
all
keep
of these
losing.
raw
That's
hides
what
I
it's
just
for.
bought.
Just throw them on the ground. Oh my
No.
god, you picked up a bunch.
Hey, that guy
And
looks
you're
cool.
telling
Black
me
with
I
red.
waste money.
Hey, you. A shrewd moneylender who has earned the ire of many. While many of his victims would like nothing more than to do him great harm, the murderous glint in his eye is enough to make them think twice. Nice chatting with you. So there's a hidden item. Let's actually just talk to him regularly. Oh, there, stranger. Ever find yourself a few leaves short of a tree? I'm your man. Get it? It's funny because the currency in this game is leaves, so it's actually pretty fucking good. It's hard to tell if the light sort of like filter that they have that has like its own like pulsing effect is happening, or if there's an anomaly, or if I'm just severely dehydrated. There is no way to tell.
Isn't that also sunny in Philadelphia? Didn't that one also age terribly?
I thought you put together Seinfeld into
Yeah.
It's Always Sunny. That's what my
No, you
brain
said
heard.
two. You said two names.
No, I just said sunny.
No,
In.
no.
I
No,
heard
that's all I
Seinfeld in
said.
Philadelphia.
I did not say that. I said
Apparently
sunny.
you did if we both heard it.
2 out of 3 doofuses agree. Oh. Painting anomaly in the bedroom. Okay, it might be a shadow one. I'm not sure. I'm very bad at knowing exactly. Oh.
Alright.
Hey. Woo. We got an applause redemption in chat. That's the timing on that one. Pops like, I got an SOS flare off. Woo! This one's right there. Okay, so where the hole is where the hole is going to eventually be. So I just need to rotate them through. So if we want... This one's not... If the hole is down here, right? Clearly we do this, right? I did it. Okay, I should give myself more credit. That was a lot faster than I thought I was gonna take. Okay, so we're just gonna punch it. We're gonna punch the dragon torch instead of the in-world mechanic that would end it.
There's another way. What is it? Beat the fuck out of the monster.
Hey, what do I do?
Just hit him, cause you're gonna die.
Yeah, this is a DPS check because it targets one person at a time with the laser, and
Basically,
then
I'm just trying to keep those alive as long as I can, cause he can't do anything else besides hit you.
yep.
Yep, I died.
He's
That's fine.
targeting me, but that's okay. We got it.
He has no health left.
Good shit. Nice.
Oh,
Oh, I
didn't
got
get
it!
the thing.
I got
Fuck
it!
You.
Whoa. Oh my gosh. Only 110 XP. You absolute mad people. What the fuck? Do you really think you can change your fate? Oh, no. Alright, well, what's this one? It's your son's bad luck to be born into the Tian family. These are horrible lotto tickets. This is karma? Oh, no. Oh, my eyes! I've never seen it.
You're seeing eyes. You never use them.
This is true. If I am afraid of of wearing them out, so.
Of overwearing them out.
Yes.
What about underwearing them out?
Why are we bringing my underwear into this?
Cause why not?
Wow, Buffett.
We're ready.
Wow.
You can move to my hometown, then you can focus on caring for our kid. Don't worry about money. My dad has asked someone to find me a job. I'll start earning money once I start the job. Mm-hmm. Oh no. And it doesn't matter because all of her props were used to decorate the house. No. Hello. Welcome back from the break, everybody. I hope you got to stretch, got to get some water, got to do whatever you need to do. But I got the mouse hold, so get fucked. Alright, let's continue. It was stressing me out that we can't close this door in the game. Thank you for the emotes dancing. My goodness, these old, like, are these TV guides? Is that what these are called? Does TV advertising really work? Oh my gosh. A TV set buyer's guide. Her new favorite.
These have seen better days.
Yeah, it's a shame they've gotten so moth-eaten.
Yeah, this taxidermy must have been beautiful when it was new. Did Grandpa shoot these?
Mm-hmm. Well, the pheasant. I shot the deer.
Mom! That's kind of awesome. You were my age when you shot it?
Had to have been.
Younger. Our father took us hunting during the summers when we'd stay out here. Well, mostly just me. I always did all right with hunting. I could kind of, what's the word? Compartmentalize it? I don't think August could, though. I only saw her fire a gun once. A little .22 hunting rifle. She didn't want to, but my dad wouldn't let her give up. He said we weren't heading back until August took her shot.
Oof.
So she aimed and fired and missed. The deer ran off, and August cried all the way home.
No
That
wonder
was
why
August's
she.
first and last hunting trip.
Yeah,
My
no wonder why
father
she didn't
have much
enjoy
patience
everything.
For that kind of, he had a real thing for, not letting your emotions get in the way.
Maybe it's good to let your emotions get in the way sometimes. Maybe they're trying to tell you something.
Mm-hmm. That's rough. I am wondering what the catalyst, the big switch moment was for August. Looks like we got a key.
Ooh, a little tiny key. What do you think it's for?
Probably unlocking something? Ugh. Maybe a desk drawer?
Found a little key. I wonder what it unlocks. This clock is really cool. Look at it. It's like a bunch of planets. At least I think they're planets. That's cool. Oh, these are funny. Huh. You're invited? What am I invited to? August 18th, 7 o'clock. Cindy and Marks. I don't know who that would have been. To Helen, darling. I know I'm running from something, but I have never felt so free. I just crossed the border, and I'm writing you from the desk in a room at a motel that's hidden off a little side road far from the main throughway. There's more driving to do before I find us a little place to settle down, but before long I'll have a return address for you to write back to. Don't miss me too much. What the fuck? From Canada? They were gonna run away to Canada?
Well, would you look at this? A postcard from the mystery man.
What was he running from?
His conscience?
His conscience?
I don't know if you can outrun your conscience by going to Canada.
You can if, I'm trying to think of a Canada joke. It's not working.
That's okay. I'll give you an A for effort.
Bested.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Alright, so we've got all this shit that we've looked at. Ooh. August 68. What a fancy little calendar. Summer's lease hath all too short a date. William Shakespeare. The 7th is Friendship Day. Oh wait, is that when the party is? Hold up. Nope, flip. No, August 18th. That would have been a Sunday. Huh. A bunch of alcohol bottles up top there. Fuck. Okay. Pear halves and syrup. Strawberries and syrup. Favorite plain crackers. That's a nice mug. So it's very interesting. Already you see like a huge difference between like the decorations and everything here, which was only a year separated from the grandfather who'd passed away, versus the decorations and the grandmother you had in the house that she had later in life. Perky's vitamin enriched dog food. Potato chips. There was something else I could pick up here, I guess not. I've got this just like little theory that Grandma really only started living after the grandfather passed away. Home America. Huh. Who knows what kind of car that is? Is that a Nova? What is that? I think it's too long for that. I have no idea what this is. Is it a Pinto? I don't know cars. If anyone can guess it, you get a proverbial cookie. You get some praise. Oh Jesus. Alright, we'll talk about that in a second. Let's take a look. Wow, I think my grandmother had this exact plate. What the fuck? I think this game was an excuse for someone to like really do some like modern anthropology, some cultural research. Not sure. Yeah. August New Friends by August Devine. I divine. August's dad left her. Alright, we're gonna. Left her a special tie. It was a red tie and it had special powers. When August wore the special tie, she met her friend Nightshade. Nightshade lived in the shadows and would always be there to help. He was August's friend who would never go away. What? A wild Goldine appears. Good luck, trainers. I don't think it's a Pinto, but I'm no expert. Very fair. So she had an imaginary friend that she only saw when she wore a red tie.
Nightshade?
It was because he could only come out at night. Or stay in the shade, as I remember it.
Okay, well, that's spooky as hell.
August was just a kid. She needed someone to talk to.
Did it have to be a freaky imaginary friend who lurked in the shadows? Wait, what about you or Grandma Helen?
Well, I was a teenager. I don't think I was the most, I don't know, compassionate at that age. I had my own problems.
If I had a little sister and Dad died, I'd be there for her to talk to.
It's different. You don't know what having a little sister is like.
Are you trying to say you were justified in not helping your little sister when she was grieving after her father died?
I helped. I did. I mean, we were all there for each other, but
Oof.
I could have used more help too. I don't think I had anything left to give. So August made a new friend for herself, one who would always listen.
So... Oh, wow. So August's dad left her a special tie, so it would have been after he died? I don't know, man. That's a little fucked up. Oh. Give me that drawer. Nothing? Okay. Oh, we figured out what the key goes to. Okay, darling, I've been driving up and down the highway and byways looking for the perfect spot. Somewhere secluded, where no one would think to look, with a little bit of space. And I know you always like a place near the water. I'll find something soon. Just keep biding your time and don't let on. Oh. Come find us. Merrimack Caverns in Montana.
Aha! They were really gonna run away together, huh?
He thought so anyway. Whoever he was.
Why do you think Grandma decided not to run off with him?
Well, maybe she just came to her senses. She could have gotten swept up in all the emotions and everything after Father died, and then when the time came, she thought better of it.
Maybe.
Is it the same voice actor of the girl in the radio
Or-
tower? Ooh, from Firewatch? That's a good guess. I'd have to look it up. That's a really good guess. She sounds so familiar.
Maybe something super messed up happened.
Good
Like
guess there,
what?
bro.
Okay. He was driving on these secluded back roads and whatnot, and he picks up a hitchhiker. And the hitchhiker gets in, and he asks him where he's headed. And the hitchhiker says, all the way to the end of the line, man. And the hitchhiker's just staring off into the distance like he's lost at some faraway place. And then all of a sudden, with no warning, he pulls out this huge rusty Bowie knife.
It's actually pronounced Bowie.
What? No, it's like the last name, like David Bowie.
Different last name. Bowie.
Are you just messing with me?
No, that's how it's pronounced.
Okay, well, anyway, maybe this guy got killed by a crazy hitchhiker. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that would be super messed up.
Is it Bowie knife? I don't know anymore. I mean, she's probably right. That sounds weird. Yeah, it's the same one. Oh, same style from back at the house. So Isle Royale National Park. Okay. Saint Benedict Messenger. Floral offerings. So it looks like just like a pamphlet for church. August 4th, 1968. The Finance Committee is searching for new members. Oh, I skipped a page. Oh, it's just an itinerary. Okay. The Finance Committee is searching for new members to join the cause. If you're interested in assisting the committee, speak with Ms. Nancy Simmons. Weddings. Linda Fuller and Dick Greenson will be married on Tuesday evening. We pray that the Lord Jesus may rightly bless the young, wait a sec, where'd it go? Oh, the young couple. I don't know why my brain was having a stroke. Okay. This is actually connected to the other game clearly, and this is the girl away from the radio tower. Yeah, no wonder why she was, like, hardened and, couldn't date, was it Henry? Harold? Whatever our main character's name was in Firewatch? Because, she had a difficult, complicated marriage. She's separated from our main character's father in this game. I don't know if they've been fully divorced the whole time, but it's been a while since they've been together, so the messiness does persist. Okay, there's floral offerings. Upcoming school year approaching. So too does our Sunday school. I'm not recognizing a lot of these names. Greeting you this morning, Mr. and Mrs. Nathaniel Von Hess. That seems familiar. I'm sure it's fine. What's Fallout and how you can be safe? Fallout is nothing more than particles of matter in the air. Nothing more? Sir, it's a little more than that. Made radioactive by nuclear or thermonuclear explosions. Okay, you did add the important bits, so I apologize for correcting you. When an atomic or hydrogen bomb is exploded close to the ground, thousands of tons of atomized earth, building materials, rocks, and gases are sucked upward, sometimes to a height of 80,000 feet or more. They help form the mushroom cloud, which is always seen during one of these explosions. Some of these radioactive particles fall out in the immediate area of the explosion soon after it occurs, but others may be carried by the upper winds for many miles. Sooner or later, however, they settle to Earth. This is called Fallout. You already forgot Henry. I did. The game was a little too traumatizing. Don't get discouraged, don't get panicky, follow these simple rules. Prepare a shelter area in your home or backyard, whether you live in a big city or in the country. Stock your shelter with a 7-day supply of emergency food and water. Get a radio, preferably battery operated, and keep it in a safe place. Mark the conal rad frequencies. Civil defense news and instructions will be provided at these frequencies. If you think you've been in a serious fallout area, remove your outer clothing and wash the exposed parts of your body thoroughly. To sum it up, Americans are hard to scare. Of course, we're worried about the forces science has unlocked. We would not be intelligent human beings otherwise, but this problem can be... Our hands in the way. That's probably the last one. But this problem can be solved, as others have been, by American ingenuity and careful preparation. Now, see your local civil defense office today. Let civil defense help you to help yourself and the nation to be prepared. What a bunch of propaganda, holy shit. If you see the cloud, you don't have much time to run. Yeah, that's the whole pamphlet. If you see the cloud, you're done, kid. Give me the teddy bear. The fuck?
Oh, look at this big pink guy.
Kurt won that from me at the fair.
Who the fuck's Kurt?
Kurt?
We met at the drive-in diner.
You had a summer fling? Was he cute?
I thought he was very handsome. And he rode a motorcycle.
Oh
Dang.
my god, a bad boy? Did you roller skate his order out to him on his motorcycle? How did that work?
He parked the motorcycle and sat at a table inside.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Sorry, getting caught up on the details here, but tell me more about Kurt.
Honestly, I fell for him pretty hard that summer. It was pretty,
Cool. On his motorcycle?
He was very romantic.
Oh, no.
No, not like that. Well, a little like that.
Ah, no. So, what happened? Did you break up with him, or...
I don't remember. It was just a summer thing. It doesn't really matter.
I think you
Wow.
do remember.
Did I hit a nerve?
Hey, maybe we should keep looking around for more relevant things.
Dang. You missed the pun. Oh, mush. Time to run like a mushroom. I don't know how I feel about this, bro. I feel like we would have a comment about just this random gun in the corner, but I guess not. Okay, we'll just leave it there then.
Sheesh, what happened here?
Looks like the wall gave way. Water damage, I guess.
What is this thing?
It's the water heater.
Oh, that's why you said water damage. I get it, I'm following along. Well, it's not going anywhere now. Can we climb over it?
No! God, look at all that rusty metal.
I'm up on my tetanus shots, aren't I?
We're not risking it.
Well, what's that thingy back there?
It's a maintenance hatch for getting down into the crawl space under the house.
Ooh,
Is there any other way into the crawl space?
there
I
was a
think
back
there's
door.
a way to get in from around the back. Why are you acting so excited?
More adventure.
Well, if we could get into the crawl space, we could climb back up out of that hatch and get over to that side of the mobile home to find more stuff.
I'm not sure why you're using the plural here.
And also, I really want to see if there's any cool, creepy stuff under there. Like a skeleton.
Listen, you can give it a peek if you want, but there is no way I'm crawling under there with you. You're on your own.
Hey, no problem. More cool, creepy stuff for me.
She's so funny. Alright, let's take a look. I probably should have been paying attention to like if items or anything moved. Like any clear signs that someone's fucking around with the environment while we're here. Okay. It's locked. Is there another way in? I may have just do right past it. Was it? The heck? Is there a key that I don't have yet? Oh, is this the other door?
What's in here?
That's just August's old room. Let's try and find some other way in.
Oh, I did though. Maybe I opened the doors in the wrong sequence. Maybe we have to go back and try now. Not having a run button is really throwing me off. Fuck. How am I supposed to... Yeah, I get it, bird. Did I misunderstand what I was supposed to do next? Let's see. A crawl space around back. If I could go into the house and come up through there, there's access room for the outside. Maybe there's another way in. Is there a key I missed? Like, is it under something? What am I missing? Did we pick up the key? We picked up like 2 different keys, didn't we? Oh no. I think we may be in trouble. Is there a way to get into the room from in here? Can I kick this wall in? No, cannot kick the wall in. Oh, what is going on? Is it kind of like hop in, like rip down the ceiling? Must be another way in. Is there anything about the van, maybe? Why the heck? I think we are missing a key. I just can't figure out where. Do I have an inventory? No. Oh, can we get in through the windows, you think? The windows are cracked open. No? Ooh, oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Wait, no. Wait, I didn't mean it. Wait, no. No. Please. Please. Is the game like, hold up, we fucked up with the keys. He's supposed to have 2 keys, but we forgot about him. How did it let me walk over to this? It's almost like I fell off the step and it's not letting me get back on it. Well, probably should have toggled that off before, but let's see. I hope it auto-saved because we are stuck. There's no like mechanics or anything. There's no jump. Let's see. Let's see that. Continue. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, sick. Let's try this door again, just in case. I'm not gonna step anywhere near that. Will not let me in. Okay. When you get soft locked in a story game, honestly. Leave it to me, though. How the fuck am I supposed to get in there? Oh, is it this? I'm so blind.
This is how we get into the crawl space?
You keep saying we.
So, this is how intrepid people with an innate sense of curiosity get into the crawl space?
Among other personality traits, yes.
Fine,
That's
then.
awesome.
I'll go it alone. You're probably too frail to get in here anyway. Those creaky knees of yours.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Okay, into the filthy crawl space you go.
See you on the other side.
Oh, this is cursed. Why is there a table? Who put a whole ass table down here? I don't like the atmospheric noises that are playing. This is surprisingly bright. Like, what the fuck? Why is there a whole dresser down here? Who put that down here? Who just shoves furniture in crawl spaces? Oh.
Oh. Cool.
What do we think that is? It's very like rodent-like with how the teeth are. But it's huge for a rodent. It seems to have a long tail. You tell me that's the biggest fucking squirrel I've ever seen? I don't know what a rat skeleton looks like, but I wouldn't expect to see a rat out here. There's no livestock or anything. Gonna find a bear down there. Yeah, I'm gonna guess like woodchuck or something. Like, this is kind of big though, so I'm not sure. The beaver's not a bad guess, but there's literally no water around. Alright, what's this? What do we got?
Ooh, this is good. Mom's gotta see this.
I'm writing you from our new home, right on the water. I was looking and looking and I realized there's no better home for us than one we could just pull up anchor and split it if we really need to. So I bought us a houseboat. It's really something else. Bought it from an older fellow who'd kept it perfect and was just done having to maintain it in his autumn year. Now, just to get you and those kids moved up here, I hope it's been a good summer. Oh, I read it wrong. Now, just to get you and those kids moved up here. I hope it's been a good summer. Write back, discreetly, and let's make plans for the big move. Something I've learned since Leo died is that being loaded with cash is the only way to live. Get ready to leave all your worries behind. Wow. Aww. Aww. Was I say the lake on? I can't. The aisle on? The idol on? Aww. Well, that didn't really get us inside. Oh.
Mom, I found a way in. Hang on, I'll open the back door.
That's why it's dead. Because the beaver didn't have water.
Hey, Mom, I found something. Look, look.
Another letter.
He wanted to live with Grandma on a boat. Maybe we can figure out where the boat was by looking at the photo.
It looks like, well, it looks like a boat.
A houseboat.
Can't see much of the surrounding area.
It's near trees? Maybe we can look for some of those.
A place in Canada with trees. That narrows it down.
Get her.
Do you remember... Well, did it seem like Grandma wanted to...
Leave my father? I mean, I guess when I was around your age, I started wondering why they were together in the first place. They didn't seem to...
make sense together?
Yeah.
Huh. I remember when I started wondering that about you and Dad. Why you were together. You're both so different. Did you used to have more in common?
Well, when you're together at first, everything about each other is new. They can cover up a lot of things. But when you get used to each other, that's when it can be hard. But sometimes, you know, by that point, it's too late.
Too late? Because you're already married?
Mm-hmm.
So you wish you'd never married Dad? You wish you hadn't gotten married in the first place, and that I wasn't around. I'm sure it would have made your life a lot easier.
Honey, that's not how it is. It's not as simple as that, and it's not because of you. There's a lot more to it. We'll talk about it someday.
When's someday?
Not today.
Then when?
Not today.
You've been doing a lot of talking today. I don't think you can, like, say your mom hasn't talked about anything, because she's talked a lot about today. So that must be Aunt August down there. That bowl cut is so funny, though. Let's see.
Go mechanics! Oh man, I forgot that August had this. I let her keep it when I moved into the van.
But August didn't even go to Fort State.
She almost did. We were both so excited to, growing up. Don't you remember Grandma talking about how much she loved it?
I remember her talking about how sexist it was.
Yeah, well, everything was sexist back then. But we're a Ford State family. You'll be a triple legacy.
Oh, wow. I am not gonna be a triple legacy. I don't even know if I want to go to college. Yeah, I guess.
I don't even know if I want to go to college.
What do you mean you don't know if you want to go to college? Of course you're going.
I can make my own choices.
What kind of choice is that? To be broke?
I'm not gonna be broke. I've been working really hard on my design business. And August didn't go to college.
August was lucky. She's talented, but she's also lucky.
When I'm 18.
Look, I don't want to talk about this anymore. It's not a discussion.
Fine.
So these letters are actually to the mom, not the grandma. They're addressed to Helen, which was the grandmother's name. What do you mean? I'm all for good fan theory, but the math's not mathin'.
Oh, how fun. Wait, did they not get to use these?
Oh, wow. Michigan State Fair. Good for one hayride. Showtime Drive-In Theater. Any date. Huh, and it's a complimentary one, too. That's interesting. It was used as a cover name.
No video games back then, I guess. Poor, deprived kids.
Here's a key.
This looks like it's for a car or something.
Oh, that's the key to my old van out front. August was always stealing the keys so she could get in there and mess with my stuff.
Well, well. Look who's gonna be messing with your stuff now.
Over the Alps board game. What do we got? The Mean Boys. One day, August rode her bike to town because of how sunny it was. Because it was sunny, her friend Nightshade had to follow behind under the trees because he lives in the shade and shadows and can't go in the sun. August laughed as Nightshade ran along under the trees, and she and Nightshade made jokes together. When August and Nightshade got to the town, there were boys outside the general store. They saw August's special tie that made her safe, but it didn't make her safe. Oh. I had a feeling when I saw the portrait, but I didn't want to bully a child for having a bowl cut. I'm realizing... Am I getting gender non-conforming vibes from August? Because August has a special tie that made her safe. And the portrait, the family portrait, the bowl cut, and also the top that they were wearing didn't look like a dress, but it could have been. Always bully the bowl cut. No. Gonna drink some water. What didn't make her safe from? The mean boys came closer. They said, "Who are you talking to? And what are you wearing, stupid?" August said, "My dad's tie." The mean boys said, "Your dad must be stupid." August was crying, but the mean boys didn't care. They laughed and laughed. August looked for Nightshade, but Nightshade couldn't help because he was trapped in the shade under the tree far away. When the mean boys went away, August went under the tree with Nightshade. August's special tie was all dirty. She gave Nightshade a hug to feel better, but it didn't help enough. Man, she got bullied. Okay. A little artist watercolors. Cute. They did say August was an artist when they were a kid. Dear August, you were upset after what happened today, and that's alright. You needed time to yourself instead of talking to me, and that's alright too. But upset as you are, you need to remember, boys only tease girls because they like them, or because they're different. You cannot control the cruelty of others, but you can discourage it through your own appearance and behavior or learn to play along. It's time to grow up now, I know you will. Oh my god. So, the mom, in response to her being bullied by a bunch of boys, gave her the old boys only tease girls that they like, which is so shit. Let's stop saying that to little girls. Um, if someone likes you, they treat you well. Like let's start that rumor, shall we? Let's get that going. But then she also hit them with the you have to discourage bad behavior, so she just victim shamed the shit out of her own kid. This is so messed up. I know you will. Not with that, no. I don't know if I agree with this
I
advice.
don't know if I agree with this advice. This doesn't sound very Millie to me.
Millie was just a character, honey.
I know, but didn't she usually give advice Grandma would have given? How could you tell a little kid that getting picked on was their own fault?
I don't know if that's what she meant.
That's what she
It's
said.
right here. She's like, if people are mean
Have
to
'em.
you, you should change. What, the bullies are right? She never told me that kind of thing when girls were being mean to me at school. She just told me to be myself.
I guess... Well, maybe if Mother could have gone back and given August the advice she gave you instead, she would have.
I hope so.
You don't like me. You take that back right now, would you be fine? If I bully you, it's in self-defense. Because I am being bullied. Because I am in danger. I love you, me, but... So, found out August was being bullied for being different. House, van, doghouse, treasure, tree, fence, treasure, treasure, treasure.
I knew it!
Knew what?
This map could only be the directions to the lost bootlegger golds.
Tess, this was clearly drawn by a child.
Perhaps it was a particularly childlike bootlegger.
Seems more like August to me.
Looks like she was just playing buried treasure. Do you think there'd be anything there to dig up that was left behind? It'd be like a time capsule.
Maybe she was gonna come back for it later. It was her first investment.
She got started early. I don't know. Let's just go see what it is.
Okay, let's make sure there's no more gems. Oh, God.
Oh my god, Aunt August. I have so many questions.
Spirito talking board. I feel like I want to meet this August. Yeah, let's look at that family portrait again. Yeah, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's a very non-traditional haircut. I mean, in the olden times, I guess bowl cuts weren't unusual for kids, but... Let's see. Oh
What's
shit,
in
was I not
here?
supposed to go there?
That was my mom and dad's room. Well, just my mom's room last we were here.
Well, dang it, that door's stuck.
I think... Look, we could twist the latch open if... I think I could get this open with a flathead screwdriver.
Awesome. Where's one of those?
Oh, I had a little toolkit in the glove box of my van.
Nice.
Mr. Rayless has been caught. Oh, nice. Oh, I forgot. It's stuck. Okay. So we gotta get out to the van. Is there anything in this bathroom? Oh, it's a photo. We found the photo. Found the photo.
Yes! It's here! It's really here! Photographic evidence of your roller skating waitress phase. I love it. You are cute!
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, please, Mom, stop. You were cute then, and you're, hot mom now.
What?
According to the boys at school, you are my hot mom. You didn't know about this?
No! I am not.
I am not.
Yeah,
She's
no,
indignant.
it's great. It's great having all the boys at school talking about how hot your mom is. It's great. Regardless, this photo of you is real neat, and I think we should keep it.
Sure. Why not?
We got the photo. Photo is locked in. Ooh. Confidential to Precious Stone. You're young, idealistic, and you trust easily. You have an open heart and a lot of pain to heal. Don't let someone who's more flash and substance take advantage of that. Oh, is this why she didn't run away with him?
Stone? This was to you?
Subtle, right? My mother was against me and Kurt being together from the start. To be fair, I would go off to who knows where with him and sometimes not come back till the morning.
Oh my
Now
gosh.
I understand how worried she must have been as a mother.
Did she put out a
You were
newspaper
bad
ad?
kid? Do you ever thank your lucky stars I'm not a bad kid?
I don't know. You and Francine can stay up pretty late.
Playing The Sims and eating pizza rolls.
Yeah, you kids are wild these days.
I love that. I love that so much. Okay. Put that back. I don't know. Hair conditioner. Very old looking. Shampoo. Gee whiz, your hair. Fragrance shampoo. Why is there so much? There's so many clues in that bathroom. Oh. Opal, I thought it was the one who was going to, have all the fun this summer before Kurt. I'm so jealous. A Casanova with a motorcycle. Jeez Louise, I've never even been on a motorcycle. I've been seeing this boy named Gordon here. He's not as fun as Kurt, but he's cute and really sweet. He runs a log flume and he's in a model airplanes and ham radio. No motorcycle for me. Write back soon and tell me everything. I need something to read before Gordon bores me to death talking about planes. Your very best log fluming non-motorcycling friend, Lori.
Ooh, you made Lori jealous. But Gordon doesn't sound so bad. He could operate the log flume. That's like a highly technical position. Impressive stuff. And model airplanes, good with his hands, and whatever the hell a ham radio is. That's probably cool too.
I think Lori ended up agreeing with you. She married him.
What? Gordon? What was their wedding like?
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't able to make it. But
Oof.
sometimes these things do work out.
Aw, that's actually really cute. If I hadn't looked in that trash can, I would have missed out on that. Okay, well, we got to... Ooh, what's this? The fuck? Kurt, about 2 hours drive? What?
What's this about?
Oh, that was the town where Kurt lived. You know, we were a summer thing, but we were planning on how we could keep seeing each other once we both went home after the summer. I guess I was feeling pretty lost. I latched onto him and held on tight. He became my plan for how I would be okay.
And that didn't work out?
Yeah, like these things often do.
So how'd you end up with Dad?
Sorry?
Well, you didn't end up with Kurt. How'd you end up with Dad?
Oh, it was a lot of years later that I met your dad. After college, I moved back to Greenville for my bookkeeping job. It was actually when I was in one of the first plays I performed in at the Andromeda. Your dad was in the audience. He hung around outside the stage door after the show and he flagged me down. He said there was a problem with the production. He was so distracted by my beauty that he couldn't pay attention to anything else going on in the play.
Gross. Gross. Depending on delivery, that might work.
Aw, that's so lame. Dad's always been corny as hell.
I found it endearing at the time. He was very persistent.
Was Dad big into local theater?
No. He told me later that he'd actually been at the play on a date with someone else.
Oh.
He told her he needed to head home, then hung around the theater to talk to me.
Wow. Bold.
That's not bold.
Did
That's...
you find that endearing?
I guess at the time I found it flattering. And a little funny.
Oh, was it
I
foreshadowing?
realized it was a red flag.
Yep, okay. Oh. So, I think Josh is right. He moved west not for a job, but for his other family because... Yeah, the fact that he stepped out on another girl to hit on her, to eventually marry her and have a kid with her, is not good. Do we ruin a good moment, or do we don't go there? I feel like a teenager, when the mom would set, if the mom set the situation up the way she has, would immediately ask. It's going to ruin the moment, but I feel like it's important to rip it off.
Are you saying Dad cheated on you?
Oh, God, no. No. Just, you know, it's a sleazy move.
So, not the kind of thing Kurt would have done?
Oh, I don't know.
If it's a secret someone's trying to hide so adamantly, that wouldn't have been an out-of-pocket way to just move on quickly, so I'm not convinced that that's correct. I guess we'll find out. Okay. So let's dig right here. I thought we had... There it is.
You ready to unearth this mystery?
You are really getting into the mess on this trip. Crawling through old crawl spaces, digging in the dirt.
It's for the sake of the adventure, Mom.
Don't let me stop you.
Alright, what do we get? Oh. Oh, it's the tie. It's so faded, though. That's... Oh, it's not just faded. It's actually been ripped. The bottom part is torn. Oh. What the heck? Under a tree? I don't get that. Okay. Goodbye, Nightshade. Thank you for being my friend. I'll miss you. Oh.
So this is where August buried her feelings.
Mom! Come on, it's sad. What?
I don't know. Maybe we should keep it. Maybe August would want it.
That'd be kind of fucked up if, I would be pissed if someone who well, she's been trying to connect with her. Yeah, I guess so.
I think so too.
We can just put it in the car.
Welcome back, Nightshade.
Turns out the real treasure was friends we made along the way. JK, it was actually the grave of August's imaginary friend, Nightshade. Felt kind of bad for disturbing. Okay, so we figured that out. We also got another key, so let's open up the van. Get some goodies out of it.
Oh, it's everything I'd imagined. It's got an ugly lamp, an acoustic guitar, a concerning scent of mold?
I mean, what do you expect? It's been under this carport for 30 years. That's why I'm not coming inside.
Okay, I'll just look around and get out. It is kind of gross in here.
You're just looking for the screwdriver, right?
Right.
Don't get too nosy, all right?
All right.
promises.
All right. But look at all this stuff.
Oh yeah, we looking. We snooping. We snooping. We snooping for sure. Let's see what we got. We got this. We got that. We got... I see a note. Let's grab the note. Oh, it's a
Wow.
playbill.
Mom was even into theater back then. Huh.
Murder at Montague Manor. Death of a salesman? I know that one. The School for Scandal. I do not know that one.
Ah, alas. Not so groovy anymore.
Bunch of nail polish.
Wow. Brutal, Lori. Brutal. But kind of fair.
What happened? Are you getting my letters? I haven't heard from you since you told me about Kurt. I've been writing you every week. Things at the park are lame. All the fun people left, and now it's just me, Gordon, and the dorks from Sandusky. If I don't get anything back, I'm just going to assume you're too preoccupied with Kurt to write me. At least one of us is having fun. I'll talk to you when school starts, I guess. Unless I'm too busy. Lori. Fuck. I mean, yeah. That's fair. What is that? Oh, is that an eyelash curler? That's so funny. Okay. It's not a... Huh. Babe.
Holy shit.
Uh-oh. The summer's been real out there, but I've got a split. I'm not hip to another winter with snow. I'm on my bike headed to Cali. Look me up if you're ever out that way, Kurt. Jesus Christ. Owner's manual? Alright, we're gonna take the screwdriver. So he just left. He just dipped one. I would take all these records. Are you kidding me? I want the records so bad. She has no interest in it.
How was the stuff? Cool as you'd hoped?
Well, I found, this.
Aww.
You guys didn't just drift apart at the end of the summer, did you?
No. I came to work at the diner one night, and they said someone had left a note for me. And it was this stupid thing.
That sucks, Mom.
I just felt like such an idiot. I'd put all my energy into plans, planning how we'd be able to stay together, planning how our life was going to be, planning how he'd be the answer for how I was going to be okay. And then one day, this. I don't know if I've ever cried as much as I did for the week after I got this.
He seems like an asshole. He seems like maybe he just wanted something different than you. He seems like an asshole. I mean, like,
He
it's...
seems like an asshole.
Hey, language.
Sorry.
In this case, it's okay.
Well, in that case, what an asshole! Ass! Butt! Crap!
All right, enough. There was a lesson I should have learned that summer. You can't rely on other people.
What?
Well,
If you put your trust in other people, if you expect them to be there for you,
I don't think that's a
one
lesson.
day they won't be.
No, it's don't trust teenage boys. I think that's a slightly different lesson. I think.
So what? You shouldn't have friends or relationships?
Well, no, I just mean you can care about other people, but you have to be ready for them to go away and be okay on your own when they do.
Are you... You're making it sound like... Are you saying Dad left you? I thought you said you both agreed to get divorced.
Well, either way, he's not here, is he?
Mom, what happened? With you and Dad splitting up? He always makes it sound like you wanted him to leave, but...
He does?
I mean,
If he's telling you I wanted this, See? This is why you need to be okay on your own. If you're fine on your own, when they leave, you don't have to feel this way. Remember that.
Well... I've got the screwdriver.
Good. That's good.
The mom's doing such a good job, in my opinion, right? She's doing such a good job at not, weaponizing or trying to own the narrative. She's, in my opinion, she's doing, like, a really good job at being like, hey, there's stuff going on that you don't understand. It's okay you don't understand it. But, yeah, no, there's more happening here. But it's not for me. I don't want to, like, rip that band-aid off because it's not just my story to tell. And I really respect that about her. Maybe I'm
Door,
unusual, but
we meet again.
that's
This
my
time,
opinion.
I'm ready for you.
Okay. Great.
Hey, good work.
Thanks, Mom. Freaky. Yet appealing. Oh, Grandma.
That's cute. Darling, now wait. It sounds like someone's getting cold feet all of a sudden. We had a plan. Leo dies. I make tracks for the border, and when the dust settles, you follow me. This doesn't work if only one of us makes tracks. I've got everything you could ever hope for up here. A place of our own. A quiet little town where nobody knows our names. And a pile of cash that'll keep us going till who knows when. The kids will love it too. What kid wouldn't want to live on a boat? Get these silly ideas out of your head. Get back on track and we'll be together now. Oh my gosh.
Would you have loved living on a boat?
I don't think so. I wonder what age he thought I was. He couldn't have thought a teenage girl would want to... Wait. I hadn't even thought of that. My mother was just gonna take me and August, and we were all gonna run off to Canada? I mean, of course she wasn't just gonna leave us behind, but...
Sounds like Grandma had some big plans worked up.
Wow.
Well, look, he said she started having cold feet, and she must have written him back and said she wasn't sure if she could come after all.
You think she realized that maybe her kids wouldn't have been so happy moving onto a boat with some random man in Canada? Can I start calling him Canada Man?
You can call him whatever you want. This is so strange.
Love makes you do crazy things.
Oh, do you think it
Love
was
or
someone at the
grief?
church?
Both?
I only say that because there was that random church itinerary with a bunch of people's names on it that don't matter. Maybe he was one of them. The Bible. Sick. The Lanky App Astrology book. Those are two very different books, buddy. Okay, let's see. Easter goose. Easter goose. Easter goose. I like that. I want that goose. I would like that goose. That's a good goose.
Ah, my mom loved this desk. I remember when she brought it home from the flea market.
Jeez, how many desks did Grandma have?
Kind of a lot, I guess. I mean, she was a writer. She liked to move around.
Well, let's see what she was hiding in here. Ugh, it's locked.
Oh my god.
This gives me an idea. The little key from Grandma's diary?
Right.
Shit, okay. Pick up note. Helen, you can't just leave me here. I did all this for you. All for you. And those are my kids too, you know? I have a right? What? Pierre? Those are my kids too? Wait a second.
What's that?
I'm sorry. What?
What does he mean? When he says those are his kids? Was Grandpa Leo not your real dad?
Oh, wow. When he was
Could
at
that
war,
have been
maybe.
why he was trying to run away with you and August and Grandma Helen?
I can't even imagine.
Look, Mom. Look. This one. This note. It has a return address. Pierre Lautrec. Box 9, Hop2 Lake, Carndale, Ontario. We should go check it out.
What? No.
No, but
Tess, we already drove however many hours up here and dug around getting dirty and all this stuff. I'm not driving us to Canada based on some return address from over 30 years ago. We have the rest of the house to pack up, and I still need to call the electric company to schedule our end of the service, which I probably should have done sooner, and...
Mom, stop. This is your father we're talking about here. It's about who you really are. It's about who I really am. Was my grandfather really my grandfather? Who was this guy? Who are we? These are big questions, Mom, and you're just gonna turn around and drive home?
Okay, listen.
Yes.
Hey, I'm not doing this because of your sterling rhetorical skills. You didn't win this one. I just happen to agree with you. I do want to know who my mother might have been mixed up with, and why she never told me about it, and who my real father is. And if we go check out this address, we might find nothing. But we might find something. So if one more day of driving is all it takes to find out one way or the other,
Then why not, right?
right.
Aww.
Glad I could convince you.
No, you just happen to be right.
Exactly. Glad you came around to see things my way in the end. Okay, should we get going? It's getting dark.
Yeah. Let's find somewhere to stay for the night. We'll look up directions. Get back on the road in the morning.
Hotel night. We're
Aw.
getting room service. Thank you, Mom. Best weekend ever.
But we didn't find that hidden fortune you were so excited about.
Yeah. Maybe it's on the other side of the border.
Maybe. Come on, let's get out of here.
Fuck. Wait, there were more items on that table. Okay. Whew. I got nervous. Sympathy card. Open. Our condolences. Our thoughts are with you, Janet and David Richards. Another one. Deepest sympathies. Our thoughts are with you, Helen. So sorry to hear about your loss. Please let me know if there's anything we can do. Okay. Pick up ashtray. The same goddamn ashtrays. Can I take the pen? That's a nice pen. Pick up photo. Oh, is that a marriage photo? Aww. Okay. Well, chat, it sounds like there is more to go with this story, but I think we absolutely need to wrap up for tonight. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate you all so much. And have a good rest of your night. We're gonna go live again Sunday morning. I might go live a little bit sooner to finish up this game because it's only on Game Pass for 5 more days, but either way, I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.